Land of power, land of might, exceptional rage, endless fight, patriot bulldozer, leading the way, crushing all foes, making them pay. Flag in hand, fury in eyes, screams of pride, ignoring lies. Iron grip, ruthless and cold. American dream, fierce and bold. Bow before the storm, unstoppable wave. Marching forward, no soul to save. Bulldozers wrath, tearing apart. Exceptionalism, fire in the heart. No retreat, no surrender. Bulldozers force, a savage offender. Red, white, blue, burning bright. In the chaos, he finds delight. Blazing trails of destruction left. In the name of the blessed, the theft. Freedom's price, a crimson blade. Bulldozer, savage again, legend made. Bow before the storm, unstoppable wave. Marching forward, no soul to save. Bulldozer's wrath, tearing apart. Exceptionalism, fire in the heart. Blazing trails of destruction left. In the name of the blessed, the theft. Freedom's price, a crimson blade. Bulldozer, savage the flame. Legend made. Bow before the storm, unstoppable wave. Marching forward, no soul to save. Bulldozer's wrath, tearing apart. Exceptionalism, fire in the heart.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Dozer Den. If you have not yet smashed the like button, go ahead and give it a good smashing. Thump that like button, caress the like button, lean in real close to that like button, whisper sweet nothings in its ear, and then pound away. Because you got to, guys. Because you got to. And you might get excited about the like button from time to time. I do, too. But if you do, make sure you hit the like button more than twice, okay? Hit it at least thrice. If you hit it twice, cancels it out. You don't want to do that. You want to be a proud killdozer here in the Dozer Den. Guys, if you could kindly share this stream out with your loved ones, friends, family, ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, Zers, and friends. I'm not judging. Just keep it consensual between adults and preferably behind closed doors, and we will not have a problem. You could always repost here on Rumble, on Pilled, on the X Machine, BitChute, I think, maybe. I don't know. We're on YouTube as well. And the dozerden.locals.com. We're all over the place tonight. In all the places, hopefully spreading the message, spreading the word. Cool thing about reposting on Rumble, you do have to say something when you repost. But everybody that follows you on Rumble will see your repost, and it goes in our repost tab. And the likelihood that we welcome more killdozers here into the Dozer Den increases every time you repost, every time you like, every time you comment. Guys, commenting is caring. It helps boost the streams. What is up, Silva? What is up, Dark Gently? Good to see ya. Appreciate you being here. What's up, 17 George, over there on pill.net. Good old, need more cowbell. I'm walking in a winter wonderland. Thank you for being over there, wherever you may be watching, whenever. I appreciate you. To the people who watch after the live stream, hello, future person. Appreciate you watching. What's up, Salty Zipper Tits? Good to see you with a big ol' Oh no, I need to fix that. Wrong design. Guys, I'm not used to Canvas Legacy. That is one good thing about the new Canvas, Canvas 2.0. Things do look better, but... Hello, good night, indeed. Well, now you're just making me think of old Lurch Fetterman on the debate stage. Good evening, everyone. Good night. Oh, guys, did you know that you can support this channel in just dropping a like, 3 a.m. calling? Goodness gracious, Dirk Gently, rest well, good sir. Appreciate you popping in for a little bit. Yeah, it's probably late for you. Good lord. But guys, did you know you can support this channel with those very, very free ways that I've already mentioned? But you can also support monetarily with Rumble, Rants, Gifted Subs. That's right, if you look under the live chat and you see that red present box, if you click it, you can shower the chat with your love, or spray the chat with your love. Whatever verb you want to use, I'm not going to judge you, okay? We talk about stuff and things here in the Dozer Den. Stuff and things. Enunciation. Very important. If we hit $50 worth of donations on any stream, I put on a fancy hat. If we hit 75, I'll put on the shades. And if we hit $100 worth of donations on a weekday, well, maybe I'll put on the Bucky the Beaver outfit. I don't know. Could just put on another hat. A hat on top of a hat. Hatception, some say. If you guys are paying attention, Bobble Trump has the dunce cap on, because Trump said some dumb shit today. And I'm gonna rant about it for a minute. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But I'll get it out of my system and then I'll be okay. I know sometimes he just think 5 seconds before you speak, good sir. Think 5 good seconds! And then reframe it and don't say something stupid about Americans' finances. Whew, buddy. It's not good. And yeah, my thumbnail it's pretty rough. My thumbnail's pretty rough tonight. But, you know, it's all right. You want to say some dumb shit, my thumbnail's going to be reflective of that. So, dunce foil cap atop Bobble Trump. Dozer, why would you put me in this dunce cap? I'm the smartest there is. Dozer Bill equals me watching your stream. Oh, good God. But guys, I forgot to mention, so there are Rumble Rants, there are gifted subs. Also, you can subscribe to the channel for a measly $5 a month. $5 a month. You can subscribe to the Dozer Den or the dozerden.locals.com. Cool thing about the dozerden.locals.com, all the benefits of a Rumble subscription, which include your name being lit up in the most beautiful shade of MAGA red. That's right, you'll catch a Rumble rash. It oozes patriotism, and the only treatment is more America. Some say don't spread a rash. No, spread this rash all around, rub it in. It's good for you. And you will have access to a plethora of wondrous, stupendous, fantabulous emotes. Some animated, some not. Hopefully all kind of entertaining. And you don't have to worry about ads on this channel. And you don't have to worry about being locked out of the premium content that I churn out. I've already gotten the 5 hours out of the way. We got it done on the road trip to Kansas City. So no more premium content this month. You answered your door with a dab tool in your mouth, and my probation officer was standing there. Holy crap, is all these impotents? No! Are you okay? Did they get you? Oh, shoot. That sucks. Damn. That's not the best, Do they don't even call, they just show up for you, huh? But anyways, guys, you can subscribe on Rumble. TheDozerDen.locals.com. You get access to all the live chat there. You can post things. You can comment under my posts. If you cared. Huh. Oh, there you go. Got it in the judge's writing. You can have it. There you go. There are a couple of other ways that you can support this channel. Guys, we have a Cash App. If you want to bypass the app processor, or we're not going to work, whatever. Come on now. Don't do that to me, Rumble. Let me see. Am I going to have to do a refresh this early in the stream? My goodness. My goodness. Yeah, that's not pulling it up. Let me see if it pulls this one up. Well, there's Venmo. There's PayPal. And then Cash App doesn't come up. Weird. How odd. I'm confuzzled. I'm confuzzled with you right now, Rumble. Why don't you like my Cash App QR code? Well, there's a new one right there. PayPal, if you want to donate directly to the Dozer Den household. We got PayPal, we got Venmo. Cash App link is in the description. By the way, the links to the articles and things that we're covering, X-Posts possibly, are in the description as well. Tonight, we're going to talk about the stupid comment from Trump, because it is a stupid comment. Could have done better with that one, buddy. And you've pissed normal people like me off, so good job. Because guess what? We give a fuck about our finances, buddy. 439 gas. I'm sorry. Fuck that. That was bullshit. Not happy about that one, guys. Not happy. I'm going to rant a little bit when we get to it. But we'll play the video, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Then I'll be done, and I'll move on to an O'Keefe Media Group. OMG, James O'Keefe. Put it down. He's got Owen Schroyer working with him now. Interesting. He's had Brianna Morello with him as well. Both formerly from InfoWars. Really interesting piece about the subversives within the White House. As they were last time, they are this time. People that are saying, oh, we've got to get Trump out. He's a madman, this and that. I think that's probably just a leftover holdover Democrat. The first guy, honestly, isn't really that salacious. It's not that dramatic. He's just talking about delegation, and it's a little bit more flexible than it should be. Not as concrete as far as the people that are working under Trump. They should be a little bit more sure of what he would say, because if not, then things get away from you. So that would be my only kind of critique on that one, and we'll talk about it as we watch through it. And then the second guy, a little bit worse look. You've got more in the dang off. You got more underneath you that are still trying to work against you. So. Caps isn't yelling. Oh man. But yes, anyways, guys, remember, salty zipper tits will troll. Okay, it happens. There's the Clint Eastwood. Get off my lawn. Exactly. That's me for the first section, the first portion of the show. After we talk about that, we are going to go ahead and we're going to start watching. We're not going to watch it all because it's a behemoth of a debate, an interaction between Crowder and Fuentes 2.0. Second round between Fuentes and Crowder. I didn't catch all of it. I caught some of it. And, they both made some good points here or there in the little bit of time that I watched. So I figure we'll do a little bit of a watch and react to that tonight. I don't think we're going to be going too long. I might increase the speed of it just a little bit. We'll see how it flows. And if it needs to be regular speed, we'll just do regular speed. And I'll just break it up into a couple shows. How about that? But anyways. So it's trolling right back. Oh no. Be nice, guys. Be nice. It's a happy time. Even though I'm gonna rant for a minute. It's why we have the tinfoil dunce cap. Dozer, I really didn't mean it. I just said it. Sometimes these things, words, air with passes through my vocal cords, and I'm not even the one who controls it. Ew. Disgusting. It's a bot. Exactly. I cut a bit beforehand. Not sure who had the best points. Yeah, it seems like they both kind of had pluses. Like, they both kind of made some good points. Both of them kind of were just like, meh, on some things. Which, I mean, that's how a discussion with people who have similar opinions on a lot of things, but minute differences or pretty distinct differences on a minute amount of things. That's how I should have said that. It's interesting. It's interesting. Fuentes may be a Fed. I don't know. Because like, okay, apparently he was locked out of his accounts and put on a no-fly list, and I don't know. I think when he said, because I think at some point Crowder kind of hits him on the, hey, you said vote Democrat. What's wrong with you? What do you actually believe? And Fuentes said at some point he's not going to vote Democrat, but it sounds like he's probably just not going to vote. And I get that. I can't blame you for not wanting to vote at this point, especially in presidential elections. I think your state, your county, a lot more important and a lot more impactful on your everyday life than the federal election, because it seems like, and it does sure seem like, federal politics is largely pointless, and there's just a nasty blob-like creature that lives within DC that just does whatever the fuck it wants. Doesn't matter who the president is. You're just going to have slightly different flavors. And sometimes it seems like, honestly, when Trump says dumb shit like he did today, it's almost like he just doesn't give a shit. And he's like, screw it. I don't have to win another election. I'm just going to go hardcore. It's like, damn it. See, you were thinking commie about Fuentes. Interesting. It might be. Sex bot needs 3 titties cooking. Did you guys see Japan? Japan apparently has a freaking robot that has the eyes that have cameras in it, and they like will track you and follow you with nice blinks and everything. Weird. Damn you, Japs. Damn you. Apparently the Japanese have released or have said that they have UFO stuff too, so that's going to be interesting. They didn't release anything specifically, but Ukraine released a video. I think it's AI. That's the vibe I get from it, because the thing looks like a freaking Saiyan spaceship. Not a Saiyan spaceship. It looks like a Namekian spaceship from Dragon Ball Z. The nerds are going to get that one. We'll look at it, but I don't know. I'm waiting for more UFO stuff to come out this week, because it is supposed to. They're going to be releasing it on a weekly basis, apparently. Guys, a new PSYOP is dropped against Thomas Massie. It's sad. Honestly, it's freaking sad. And here's how Ed Galrain, or Galrain, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Here's how he reacts to a little bit of pushback from some of his own constituents, or would-be constituents if he wins, with all that Maria Madelson money and Democrats, lefties. That's who's supporting Massie's opponent. Just think about that, MAGA folks, that, like, they're fake. There's fake MAGA. I'm going to call them fake MAGA. All these people on X right now that are just going after Massie based on one accusation from somebody who isn't even freaking close to being, like, reliable or believable, based on previous lies, allegations that she made against people. And she's running for a school board race, apparently, in Okaloosa County, something, Florida, and has made accusations against a principal, too, with, like, no evidence. If you don't have any evidence, sit down and shut up. With the whole Epstein thing, they actually have, documents and evidence, and the whole Epstein Files Transparency Act, which our DOJ still has not lived up to. We gotta get that. They confirmed the cluster over Fukushima was was real. I have not seen the one over Fukushima. 17 George, if you have a link, throw that in the chat, please. I would like to look at that. I will say, think what you want about, what's his face? Got the beard. Why am I blanking on UFO guy? Big guy. Not George. That's George Norrie or George Knapp. Jeremy Corbell. So think what you want about Jeremy Corbell. And I have my skepticism of the man. But he's got connections, evidently, to where he has some interesting videos. And we've got a few that we'll go through. But let's take a look at how Ed Galrain, or Galrain, I don't know how you pronounce his name, he's gay, reacts to a little bit of pushback about the constitutional adherence, that most people should be easy. This is an easy answer.
Well, thank y'all for letting me share that with you. Yes, ma'am, in the back there.
Why won't you debate Thomas Massie?
Great question. Ma'am, I'm debating him right now. He's been...
What a stupid response. What a stupid response. Oh my god. Oh my god. What's up, Hair Juicer 3K? Good to see you. What's up, Potar Jr.? I have to write myself in for president like I've been doing since 2012, an act of high comedy. One of these days, it's going to pay off. Hey, one of these days, man. One of these days. Yeah, Selva, I've seen that. There are clips of him telling people to go inside and clips of him chatting with Ray Epps. Yeah, No, you're right. You're right. Those concern me, Silva. He's never really answered for that. So, sorry, I was not keeping an eye on the chat. How that led up to releasing Epstein files. No. They still have not released them all. There's still like 3 million documents or something like that they haven't actually released. Yeah, they haven't. No, they still got work to do. And it would be nice to be seeing some accountability, too. That would be cool. But Edgar Rain's response, I'm debating him right now. No, you're not.
In office, he's been running 15 years. What's he got to say now that he hadn't said already?
You know, a radical authoritarian socialist that comes in 2028, and we've given them all this executive authority, and now the precedent is set for them to come in. And who wants to know what that looks like? But that's the question. Are you going to cede away authority and support executive power?
The challenge in your question is...
That's a horrible response. I'm just a farm boy from Kentucky. Well, then obviously you're not the guy for the job, are you?
You've made assertions as predicates that are not true. But thank you for...
Thank you. You're not going to answer our questions? Are you really not going to answer any more questions? You can go that way. I'm asking. He's still there.
Okay.
I don't really know why people are here.
No, there are legitimate documents that haven't been fully released saying that Trump's implicated here. Massey's never claimed that Trump did anything on any islands. He did say it looks kind of weird, and it does look like that. Yeah, Trump got so pissed about that because, yes, a lot of his friends are involved in it and absolutely should be held accountable for some of the salacious shit they were doing. But it's Trump's buddies, so that's what happened. That's either that or somebody told him that it was going to be so bad for the government because so many powerful people would be implicated that they would have to obfuscate the shit out of it in order for that not to happen. That's my only thing. There's multiple options. We're never going to know the full freaking scope of things, but I would like a little bit more. Yeah, I would like a little bit more. We could have some of the documentation, some of the paper trail on some of that evidence that they deleted, that they got rid of, so that would be nice. Damn, you can only find the article for the 2011 footage. Shoot. Ooh, what you got there, though? What you get there? But just the craziest thing about, the whole Epstein files thing, it was one of the, besides so he said, she said, no proof. No, paper trails. I'm talking about actual paper trails they haven't released, documentation. Let's see, let me pull this up. No, but nothing, no one's saying Trump did, hurt kids. At least I'm not. Fukushima Lab releases. I might be able to find the Fukushima Lab UFOs. 4 items that are highly likely to show UFOs were made public. One is taken. I will look into that. In videos, other folks covering it. I got you. I'll look into it. I'll try to do a little bit of searching as we go. But Trump with children. I have not seen those at all. No. Ew. Ew. No, we're not talking about the. Yeah, I've seen that video, Silva. It's horrifying. I haven't seen all of it, but I've seen part of it, and I stopped watching it because it was disgusting, and I felt like stopping. But anyways, let's finish this here.
Can't vote for him. It's really ridiculous.
How do you know I can't vote for him?
No, you said you're supposed.
I'm not with him. I just met him today.
You both have that grim face together.
Oh, grim face. Yeah. All right. You're not going to answer any more questions, huh? Just like that. What a coward. That's why you won't debate.
I do not know these women. I sat next to them. I
can tell by the look on your face.
Okay.
Let me grab his right.
Sir, I was just trying to frame the question so that way you would know which unconstitutional things I was speaking about.
He doesn't care. He
That
doesn't
tells
want to answer
everything
the question.
right
He's not
there.
above you.
That tells the whole story.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty
Let
bad.
me get my camera out so I can take your guys' picture.
Okay.
Too,
I'll give you my name,
so
too.
you can, I can just put your little faces up everywhere that you could find.
Oh, look at you, Karen. Good job, Karen.
I have a grim face.
I'm here to disrupt people.
Did you grab
You're a
my
disruptor.
phone? Yeah, I am a disruptor. That's right. Did you just grab my phone?
Dumb bitch.
This woman is grabbing my phone out of my hand. Are we going to do nothing about this?
Yeah, not good. Not a good look, Ed Galrain, Gay Rain, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Not a good look, Eddie boy. And Trump just not like a horrible endorsement from Trump, which he's had a few stinkers. But this one's really, really cruddy. Really cruddy. But oh well. Hopefully the election's legit, and just a massive influx of foreigners' money won't cause one of the most constitutionally consistent individuals in Congress to be ousted. Yeah. I'm the MAGA side that wants the Constitution respected. So sorry. But anyways, let's go on to one of the next things here. Massive triangle filmed over Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I don't know when this is from, but it's entertaining and it's interesting, and I want to look at it with you guys. Let me show you my lights in the sky. Much better recording than I've done. I'll say that. I need a good nighttime recording camera. That's what I need. It'd be nice. Or like a lens that a telescoping lens I can attach to my iPhone and actually get some decent nighttime footage. That would be kind of cool. Guys, don't forget to hit that repost button. When you do, I do appreciate you. I appreciate you for watching too, though. Right up there. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. I've seen something similar to this. TR3B. Where's Entropy Nomad at? There that was. Kind of a little slow. It was moving along, doing its thing. Why are these bookmarks out of order? I want them to be in order. You guys want to see somebody who woke up with a Chinese accent out of nowhere? Yeah, a pure constitutionalist that supports the Bill of Rights and amendments. I know, right? Some of the amendments might need to be adjusted.
It wasn't until I was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital she actually said, "Are you aware of the way you're speaking?" And I said, "Oh, I sound like I have a slur." And she said, "No, you sound like you can work at a Chinese restaurant."
Nah.
She said, "Yeah, you look good working the local China house or something."
Sarah was an IT specialist until a severe migraine bordering on a stroke brought the syndrome on.
Crashed. Crashed.
Okay, let's try reading.
You wish to know all about my grandfather. It wasn't
This is
until I
the
was
thing
in
that
the
actually
ambulance.
does happen. I don't know if hers is legit. I have a feeling it's not. She might just be a nut job. But there are some people that will wake up either speaking a different language or with an accent like that. So you've seen some night flying power gliders that look like that video. Possible. What's up, Sanglant? Good to see you. It's racist. It's great. What's up, General Samuel Fields over here on Rumble? Good to see you on Rumble, man. All right. Let's see. What's this? That one was meh. We have a this interaction's meh. Let's see what this was. Man, this one's kind of cool. Another UFO in Mexico. I think it might be fake as hell, though. This one looks like it could be fake as hell. And like, it's not doing anything dramatic. It's just kind of hovering. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably. Hey, thanks for the red pill and the repost over there on on pill.net as well. How dare you? Yeah, but this one looks like a drone. I don't know if I buy this one.
Y de allá es de donde estaban saliendo los de anoche. No se ve nada en el cielo. Que sí se está viendo bien,
That is just somebody's recreational drone. Unless it zips away at the speed of light.
Ya estoy el sol que mi celular. Oh shit, esto está loquísimo.
Interesting, but
Un globo no puede ser eso, un globo.
Autism and isms, and therefore racist. Yes, yes, indeed, Potar Jr. I don't know. If it's doing something more dramatic, I'd be more intrigued, I suppose. But it's not, so I cannot be. I can't be intrigued by it. All right, you guys ready to get into the first topic? We're 30 minutes in. I think we've dipped our toes into the water quite considerably. Let's go ahead and get into the first one here. Where did it go? Let me do a refresh here. Go back over here. All my bookmarks. Things. My internet was in and out, I think, from some rough weather earlier. Oh, well, that is not what I wanted. Here we go. Now we're updated. Oh, real quick, before we get into that. Let's go ahead and get into the first topic. We got ourselves... I wonder if they're actually going to show the video in this article. Load, damn you, load! Here we go. Yep, it's the video. And, just not the best day for Trump. Not the best interaction here. It's pretty rough, and yeah, that's why he has a foil dunce cap on right now.
On sanctioned Russian oil to ease the global food crisis.
We're going to do whatever is necessary, and as soon as this war is over, which will not be long, you're going to see oil prices drop, and you're going to see a stock market, which is already at the highest point in history, go through the roof.
It dropped off recently, didn't it?
You're going to see...
And inflation's at 3.8 since last year, so that's that. There's that.
The golden age of America, frankly, and you're seeing it now. So...
If this is the golden age, I would like a return, please. Give me silver. Give me sterling silver. I'll take sterling silver. If this is gold, I don't like it. Guys, people... $39 is... I don't remember it hitting that whenever Biden was in office. Be like, oh, it's still not as high as when Biden... No, I'm pretty sure it fucking is. I'm pretty sure it fucking is. And there are multiple things that factor into the price of gas. Yeah. But, the messaging on this has been shit. And like I said on the Saturday that things popped off, guys, if we would have just gone hard and got it done, that would have been a different story. Dragging it out, and I warned at the time, I said, if this drags out, it's going to be a fucking problem. And it's drug out. And I think more suffering occurs globally because it's being drug out. Now, war is ugly, war is disgusting. Should have gone in hard as hell and just brutally smack the shit out of them. And then as soon as they twitch, smack the shit out of them again. But here we are 2 months later. Not the way to do it. Not the way to do it. Yeah, the investments and stuff is great, but I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, and I'm not saying that there's not good things happening. But normal people aren't going to look past their nose on this. They're not. You caught a string, for fuck's sake. String of what? Iran is about to... Maybe.
As soon as this is... Don't forget, you have hundreds of ships that are loaded up with oil that want to come out. As soon as they...
And whose blockade is it? It's Iran's blockade one day, and then the next day it's our blockade. Yeah, well, normal people are the ones that are voting, man. It sucks. What is a normal person? Oh, you caught a string. It's the fake UFO video. Nice. It's funny. I told you I thought it was fake.
Come out, we're going to have a gusher of oil, and you're going to have inflation that goes way down. Now, with all of this, inflation is much lower than it was under Biden. Biden had the highest inflation in the history of our country.
Yeah, you can keep talking about Biden, but inflation going up is not a good sign. It's not. Okay, yeah, but the blockade, they say it's our blockade, and then the next day it's like, they better open it up. It's like, who's controlling the strait then?
Inflation is nothing by comparison, but our inflation is just short term. Because if you go from just before the war, we were for the last 3 months 1.7%. And now what you have is as soon as this war is over, you're going to see inflation go down to probably 1.5%.
President, you promised to bring inflation down. It's now at its highest level in 3 years. Are your policies not working? What's happening?
Policies are working incredibly. If you go back to just before the war, for the last 3 months, inflation was at 1.7%.
Okay, that's great. And now it's up to 3.8. So
now, we had a choice. Let these lunatics have a nuclear weapon. If you want to do that.
That's not what it's about. I thought we got rid of the nuclear weapons a year ago, dude. So where's the messaging on that? Thought we took care of them. I thought we took them back to the Stone Ages. That's what I said. Yes, took it back to the Stone Ages.
Then you're a stupid person, and you happen to be. I mean, I know you very well.
Just shit. It's a shit response.
Anybody that wants them to have a nuclear weapon is a stupid person. So we said we're going to take the greatest stock market in history, and we're going to go down a little bit. And actually, that turned out to be incorrect because our stock market is now at the highest point in history, which frankly surprised a lot of people. It's a very simple message. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon. And that's 100%. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their anti-aircraft is gone. Their radar is gone. Their leaders are gone. They're all...
They don't care about their leaders being gone because the Iran Revolutionary Guard is taking their place, and they are just, they're ideologues. I don't understand how he's fucking missing the point on this. These are tribal idiots. When you look at Iran, when you look at these sand people in the sandbox, the Middle East, which we don't need to be messing with, fuck it, fuck them all. And if you're gonna go in, do it right, get it done, and get out. Yes, that means go in with high-powered weapons. I don't know what necessarily that looks like. I'm dying. Don't you love that? When you choke on your own tonsil for half a second? Oh my god. Good lord. Whew. Just enough time to have 18 people watching for my throat to go, eh. Ooh, damn. We buried their nuclear material in their tunnels. It can be dug up. Well, then they were wrong, and then they lied then. Right?
Gone. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
Oh, that is not the clip I wanted, damn it. Well, shit. Give me a sec. Let me refresh this. Maybe that's what the problem was. Oh no, it's taking too long. There we go. Here it is. This might be it. I think it did the thing where you leave it going for a minute and then does that. Probably not. Salty Zipper Tits. Selva likes to watch and listen sometimes. Let me play this again. See if it plays the actual thing. Nope, that is going to be the same damn thing. Shoot. Well, give me a moment. Inflation is lower in most places. What jacked it up is the speculation behind all the oil futures. Yeah, and the whole thing about releasing a news bite on Fridays every other week to stir the markets up is kind of getting fucking old. They need to stop doing that. They could have built a dirty bomb or maybe a bomb too big to move. I don't know. I think the problem is you try to take everything Trump says to literally. Yeah, sometimes I think it's applicable, and I think we should. And I think when he says dumb shit like he doesn't care about America's finances when he's talking about the Iran stuff, that is fucking stupid. That is him just talking off the cuff and him just being like, no, actually, I don't think about it. I think he was actually just being genuine with that. And it's fucked up. Hence the dunce cap. Dunks Trump tonight. That's what we're doing. Excuse me. I finally recovered. My God, I thought I was going to die for a second there, guys. Let me see if I can find it over here, darn it. But no, yeah, let me find the damn clip really quick. Thought I had it pulled up. My bad, guys, for not being prepared. Here's the clip I'm looking for. Here we go. What's up, Mod King? Good to see ya. See. Make sure you hit the follow, smash the thumbs up, and repost, peeps. Bacon thumb. Bacon thumb. Bacon. Indeed. Short term, long term. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not okay with the hit to the economy that we currently have. It's not going to be short term if it keeps up. We'll see. I really hope it ends quickly, but it should have ended in a week. That's what I said on Saturday, the Saturday that all this popped off. If we're going to do it, war's ugly, war's disgusting, we need to be absolutely fucking brutal and just metaphorically slit their throats. To the YouTube watchers. We should have gotten this done quick, and we've prolonged it, and it's going to be bad. If it keeps up, it's going to continue to be worse. I don't know if the plot is, or the ploy is to maybe let it run a few months and then, like, right before the midterms, start letting things come in to ease things up. Maybe that's what the plan is, because then it'll be fresh in people's minds that, oh, look, good things did happen with this administration. So, I didn't say it was going to be Venezuela, but a week would have been enough to actually get done what we needed to get done if we actually meant business and we actually wanted to get it done. Well, obviously, we didn't. So, yeah. But here's the quote that has pissed me off. Oh, we got a $1 Rumble rant. Just a moment here. $1 Rumble rant from Entropy Nomad for Sanglant. Thank you very much for that $1 donation. Turn in the chat a lovely, lovely shade of blue. And if the chat goes blue, you know what we must do. We must play one of the blue sounds, guys. At least one. Here's Piper Alley. There we go. Man, that is a hell of a delay, isn't it? You see me bobbing my head there for a sec. Rumble Studio's still fucking up. Even the Canvas Legacy is still doing it. So there is a bit of a delay. Sorry about that, guys. Sam, you're the YouTube watcher. You are. There's 3 now, apparently, because you commented, I think. Thanks, Sam, dude. I appreciate you. No, I was just saying the words I chose. I said metaphorically slit their throats, and that's why I said bye to the YouTube stream, because sometimes YouTube is gay. Well, apparently not, though. That's cool. Knock on some wood. Let's see. Trump has a 6-month plan. Mark my words. Maybe 6 months. Maybe it's right before the midterms. Things will ease up. I don't know. Maybe that's the ploy. If so, yeah, whatever. Not really a fan. Should have been done quick, but.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about what. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that motivates.
Yeah, not the best moment of Trump's presidency at all. Both terms. Not a good one, dude. Really, really stupid choice of words. Really stupid choice of words. And that will haunt you. That's gonna haunt Trump. That was a shit way to say that. What he should have said was something like, my main focus whenever I'm talking with the Iranians and we're in negotiations is making sure that they will not have a nuclear weapon. But to be like, I don't even think about America's finances, that's fucking stupid. It was a stupid thing to say. Just do better, dude. You gotta do better with how you speak. You gotta do better with how you speak. That was a shit comment. A callous comment that's gonna make a lot of people, especially the normies that hear that. When normies hear that, they're gonna be like, fuck you say? Like, nah. That's just not the right way to say that. Because I think what he meant was he's focused on the nukes. He's focused. That's what his main focus is. It doesn't mean that he doesn't necessarily care about Americans' financial plight right now. But the way it came off was shit, and it provides unnecessary ammo to the left, to the woke, and it just gets fucking old. It gets fucking old that he keeps saying dumb shit like that gives ammunition to the left every fucking time. Not every time, but a lot of times. And it's just a bullshit way to say it. That's just my opinion. Famous last words. Here, hold my beer. Yes. Sam Duty says, but it's okay for us to have them. I don't like the idea of Iran having a nuclear weapon. I don't like that. If they can keep it within limits for just energy, I don't really care. And apparently all the evidence before this, and including from Tulsi Gabbard, that, DNI said that they weren't getting a nuclear weapon, and, old Bibi Netanyahu, well, Iran is 6 weeks away from a nuclear weapon for the last 30 fucking years. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit fucking skeptical about them having access to a nuclear weapon. Just saying, I'm a little skeptical. But just honestly, not the best moment for Trump. Really shit thing to say, shit way to say it. That's the biggest thing, is just a shit way to say it. Just thought for 5 seconds. If he'd have thought for 5 seconds and reframed it, that would have been nice. Just a reframe. Just a tad. Just a tad, sir. And you could have made that so much better and made this not look like my thumbnail. And yes, you say some dumb stuff like that, and the way you said it, my thumbnail is going to be pretty fucking harsh. It's got to be. It's got to be. You say, flush Iran, let the Persians round them up and toss them into the Dead Sea. Like I said on the Saturday that it popped off, if we can get this done, get it done quick, get our objective accomplished, and get the hell out, it'll be great. That's not what's happened so far. And don't give me the, Iraq lasted 20-something years, or Afghans lasted 20-something years. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Tired of trying to save the world from commies while explaining how it works for commies, or works for normies. Yeah, it gets old, but the thing is, you can mitigate that by just being more concise in your messaging. And that's one thing that it is bothering me about the Iran stuff. The messaging is very inconsistent, and it's all over the place. And one thing that keeps popping into my head, it's like I hear it, literally I hear the words, God is not the author of confusion. Just putting that out there. I think there are some nefarious as fuck forces in this administration, guys. That's what I think. I think when you have people like Paula White being the lead spiritual advisor to Trump, and you have them dedicating a freaking golden statue, it looks bad. It looks bad. You have a lot of Christians and Jews and, religious leaders coming around and doing a little kumbaya thing around a golden statue. It's like, stupid. It's not good. No. We were promised this was a short end to a needed end to. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be short. Maybe it'll end. If it ends, like, in the next day or so, gosh dang it, I'll hop on tomorrow and we'll do a stream and talk about it tomorrow. If it ends tomorrow, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll take the dunce full cap off of Bubble Trump. I'll give him his Illuminipple once more. That's what we'll do. By the way, we're $49 away from Fancy Haggle on Tuesday night. I'm like, fuck them, steamroll our objectives, fuck the rest. That's the thing, though. We're not steamrolling. If we would have steamrolled, it would have been done in a week. We're not. We're pussyfooting around again, and it's looking like it's going to freaking continue on and continue on. That's what it looks like. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm freaking wrong, and I hope I'm just, overreacting. That's what I hope. But it doesn't look like it. I'm just saying we could have had this done so much quicker. But let me, like I said, let me know when they sacrifice something to Golden Trump. Maybe their honor. I don't know. It just wasn't a good look from my opinion. But yeah, but I haven't seen a clear in because Trump wants that uranium dust, which is the uranium dust thing is such a weird thing. It's dust because it's in the rubble. Yeah. No, America has the might that a week would have been possible. Apparently they told Trump it would be done in a week, so yeah. And apparently he's grumpy about it not taking just a week. Well, if we would have meant business, it could have been done much quicker. But we do this half measure stuff where we they also have still apparently not figured out how to deal with tribal folks. The cutting the head off the snake doesn't work with them. There's an ideology. I hate to be like this, but it's kind of like the kind of like our reasoning for dropping the big ones on Japan. They believe their emperor was a god. That's the reasoning given, but I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. I'm concerned. I'm praying. Praying for Trump. Praying for the people around him to either the nefarious ones get the hell out. Yeah, maybe strategically placed. Maybe a small scale. I think honestly it would have been less suffering in the long run. You rip the Band-Aid off. You might think that makes me a bastard. But yeah, salty zipper tits. I think yeah, and the way it came across was shit for me, man. I definitely respect your opinion though. Yeah, he needs to do better. He's I get it. You say his 80's not going to change, but that was very flippant, a very, very bad way to come across, and it's not going to play well. It's not. So, and I hate having to keep explaining what the reasoning behind such a statement might have been. So, it gets tiresome. It gets tiresome. Let's see here. You know what doesn't get tiresome? Lincoln Park. Here's a bird doing Lincoln Park things. He caught the birdie in the house. Yeah, I understand that, Neuro. I do. You're done caring what idiots think. Well, the idiots vote. So you gotta mitigate. You gotta work on your messaging. They've got to get better on their messaging, especially with the Iran stuff. They've got to stop with the whiplash back and forth stuff. Who closed it there. Here's some cool UFO videos from the Jeremy Corbell's Sleeping Dog, which you gotta pay for, but they'll be released apparently this week. I think that's what they're saying. So this one is is that a bundle of balloons? No, it's moving. No, it's not balloons. That could be biological. I don't think that's mechanical. These are some interesting ones. leaving the ships in the dust. Oh, that was a cool one. That was a cool one. When it goes up and swerves around like that. Alright, just leaving the plane in the dust. That's cool. That one was a still from the movie Flight of the Navigator when you showed the post. Huh. Which one? Oh, the one over to the right? Yeah. This looks like 2 satellites got their balloons tangled up. Possibly. Safe travels with the dog, Mod King. Safe travels with the dog. Oh, the one over there to the right. Yeah, that's the post, the Flight of the Navigator. Yeah, that's probably what that is. Give me a second. All right. One of the minions was up here. She brought the baby monitor up, so there will be noise in the background. I usually keep the baby monitor downstairs because Lady Dozer gets off, at like 10, and they'll be home, and then she can monitor him, and I can hear him because he's literally right there. So, yeah. But anyways, she thought she was helping. I'll let her help. How come in the age of 4K all these videos are so grainy? That's what I'm saying. Military's got to do a better job. But yeah. And Expos. Yep. Okay, I got what you're saying, 17 George. Excuse me. I've seen that movie so much as a kid. Nice. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to include that other than just clickbait. Tom Thompson. I don't think that's your real name, sir. You might be lying. Let's see. Let me do a quick refresh. Check on the reposts and the comments because I do appreciate you guys and I like to shout you out as you do the things. And stuff and things. Salty Zipper Tits with a comment. Neurodiversion 1 with a repost. Self-Sojourn with a repost. And myself. Yes, I reposted. And I liked. Because if you're not liking your own stream, what are you really doing? What are you really doing? Some of the videos apparently aren't. That one with it moving around, though, that was interesting. I want to look at that one some more. I don't know. Until I see an ET Craft in 4K Ultra, it's fake and gay. You know what? That's fair. I don't blame you. They use it because it was cut content you only see in the extras. Oh, okay. That makes sense. But I do appreciate... Oh, and we had Zach D Films followed the channel 7 hours ago. You know what? I might give him a follow back. 9 followers. Literally just AI. I'll check him out later. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give him a follow. Anyways, let's go ahead and see. We're up to 13 likes, guys. Thank you so much for smashing that like button. It does help. That's what they tell me. Let's go ahead and... Let's see. So I don't really want to read the article now because there's not much to it. I think we pretty much covered... talks about inflation rising to 3.8 over the last year and 0.6% in April alone. Man, I really hope, guys. I think what they're probably going to do is they're going to finally go ahead and mint a deal closer to the midterms, probably about a month out from the midterms. Gas prices are going to drop dramatically. Everyone's going to be happy, and then they're going to ride that wave. I think political strategy-wise, I think that might be what they're doing. But I don't know how long just the average everyday American's going to be able to hold on. Just patience-wise. I don't know. It's a bargain. It's a risk. And we'll see how it pays off. We'll see. Not a good look. But Jesus Christ. You've seen a real one? A tier 3B? I cannot discount all sightings. Did preview? Luckily, not the... Yeah, you just had the sore butt afterwards. That's what it was. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this next topic here, guys. We have ourselves subversives within the White House. Yet again. Gotta get a lock on these subversives. We gotta get a lock on these people. And O'Keefe Media Group getting after him yet again. With this piece, we've got the first guy, which I don't think is too salacious, honestly. I really don't. Second guy, not a good guy. Not one you want underneath your supervision. But let's take a listen.
Decision-making processes are a little bit
A White House policy advisor opens up about the internal decision-making processes
Boy, get a
throughout the
haircut.
White House.
I think it's just the
It's not like I've ever had long hair.
overall tone and like the government right now is a little bit unusual, like trying to fix itself.
Maxim Lott even acknowledges that officials below Trump will often make decisions for the president, presuming what his stance would be.
In theory, everything should sort of come from the president.
Yeah.
But it might come from the level below him where they're like, I think I know the president well enough to say what he would say on this. It's like, yeah, we would want to do that. That would be popular. And then at my level, like, I don't know, 5 levels below or whatever, still there's a lot of discretion to be like, this is clearly like what we would want to do.
And this is apparently done with no financial analysis or concern. It is just based on assumptions or on what, quote, feels like a good idea.
There's no like, oh, well, this will cost $10 million, but like,
no based on feels.
There's like nothing like that. It's just like, it feels like a good idea, or like the base supports this or this.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, you're good. I like the questions you ask.
Oh, thank you.
You're a journalist.
Meanwhile, another White House official, who according to Maxim Lott could be entrusted to make budget decisions on the Trump administration's behalf, openly declares, quote, "We've got to get rid of Trump."
We have to get rid of Trump.
This guy's the bad one.
He's a mess. He's fucking it up for everybody.
Like, yeah, this guy's not good to have underneath your supervision. This is a literal subversive. The other guy just kind of was talking about things. Not that big of a deal, honestly, not that earth-shattering. This one, very concerning.
We gotta get rid of him.
Yeah.
Benjamin Elliston claims that Trump is a dangerous madman and insists that no one can know that he feels this way.
He's a madman. Literally. He's invincible. Nothing can stop him. And that's dangerous.
Do people know that how you
So this guy got a bit of an accent, if you couldn't tell.
feel about the president? No.
Oh, but they will. Maxim Lott is an advisor and special assistant.
Entropy, they have to be absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'd be a good bit pissed if I had folks like that working for under me. Yeah, the second guy for sure. First guy just kind of talking about, Salty, let's chill with the N-bombs, please. I keep the chat up on the screen, but I do have a life outside of the internet, so.
To President Trump on the White House Domestic Policy Council. He's been working in the White House.
I kind of like having the chat up on the screen, so let's not with that, please.
Since February 2025 and is responsible for high-level domestic policy decisions.
What do you do for work?
Yeah, so my career was in journalism. So
Really? Wow.
worked, for more than a decade there. I was mostly in New York City. So right now, for the last year, I've been working in government actually as like a policy advisor.
Oh, okay.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah, keeping busy.
Maxim met our undercover journalist on a date in Washington, D.C., and almost immediately he began to lament the decision-making within the White House, claiming that there is no cost analysis or consideration of saving American taxpayer dollars. Decisions that affect every American are made based on assumptions about Trump's intentions, or simply on what, quote, feels.
Oh, 17 George, every now and then I do pull up the pill chat. Every now and then I do. It's, if it would, Rumble Studio doesn't factor in the pilled chat very well. Like, they don't play nicely, apparently. The software doesn't work well together. So that's why it doesn't show them up. But I've got it pulled up. Like, I can show you right now. We'll show the pilled chat right now. I shall do so. Give me a sec. Because I got to share from a window. And we'll do that one. Yeah. There. Boom. Pilled chat. Right over there. In all its glory. Give me a second here. Give me a second. We're talking about, let's see. Anna Paulina. Yeah, there's a lot of nonsense on there. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it didn't show up. Damn it. I didn't post it. Dummy. There we go. Pepe with an eggplant. Hooray. Wee. Wee. Rumble needs to factor in GIFs, damn it. Rumble needs this, okay? That's part of how I communicate with people. GIFs and memes. It's just that's how I get it done. I do have an Anna Paulina Luna in there somewhere. Where'd it go? Gotta scroll a bit for that, don't I? Wow, is it that far down? No way. I must have skipped past it. Sadness. Yeah. This is an old one. Good Lord. I thought I had Anna Paulina Luna in her MAGA swimsuit. It's somewhere in here. I'll find it. Cannot believe I'm not finding it as quickly as I would like. There it is. It's right here. Right where it should be. Front and center. There we go. There it is. Make America great again, guys. Anna Paulina Luna with the booty. Yeah. All right. There you go. There you go. We're done with that. Done with that. Back to the piece. White House subversives. Yet again. We got to get control of it.
Like a good idea, and whether they think the base supports it.
I am getting some good stuff done, but yeah, it's complex. But
Where do you find the complexities?
like the decision-making processes are a little bit chaotic.
Are they?
Oh goodness, 17 George.
What makes it chaotic? Are there too many cooks in the kitchen kind of a thing?
I think it's just the overall tone and like the government right now is a little bit unusual. Like, it's trying to fix itself. Like,
that went so angry.
Getting some good stuff done, also making some mistakes. There's no like cost benefit. They're like, this will cost $10 million, but like save people $20 million. There's like nothing like that. It's just like it feels like a good idea, or like the base supports this or something.
That's funny.
Maxim even goes on to reveal that White House officials below Trump are often making
America,
decisions
17 George.
in his name based on what they believe Trump would do. Quote, I think I know the president well enough to say what he would say on this.
In theory, everything should sort of come from the president.
Yeah.
But it might come from the level below him, where they're like, I think I know the president well enough to say what he would say on this.
Oh, okay.
And then so each level below is kind of like an extra level of that. It's like the person right below.
Okay, so what he's doing is he's talking about the communication game, telephone, right? Where you say one thing to one person and then it goes to the next person and it's probably pretty much the same, but then it goes down another level and then it's a little bit different. Then it goes down another level and it's a little bit different, and another level and it's a little bit different. So like that's kind of what he's saying, where everyone's like, okay, well yeah, we're pretty sure Trump would be okay with this, but it could end up getting diluted or slightly askew. That's kind of what I think he's saying, which really isn't that, like I said, this isn't that big of a shocker for me. I don't know. Excuse me. Oh my. God bless technology, salty zipper tits. God bless technology. Gravity is interesting with jets and memories.
Him is also insanely busy. So it's like the person below that will be like, you would want to do this. And then at my level, like, I don't know, 5 levels below or whatever, still there's a lot of discretion to be like, this is clearly like what we want to do.
The policy advisor even gives a specific example. Maxim claims that his team has been working on ways to block or prosecute spam phone calls, just based on their belief that, quote, Trump would want them to do that. That would be popular. and acknowledges that Trump doesn't even know that the White House Domestic Policy Council is working on this. Now, for the record, most Americans would definitely not oppose such a policy, but we felt it was concerning that Trump's Domestic Policy Council is committing such an endeavor without the president's approval or knowledge.
And I also didn't know that stuff going in. But it's interesting to see. And, yeah, but like something like ending spam phone calls, it's like, yeah, we would want to do that. That would be popular. Like one side project is seeing if we can come up with new rules to prevent spam phone calls.
Where do those come from? Is it? Oh, is it?
They're all like overseas. And they just pretend to be a U.S. number. So like, if there's a way we can figure out to do it, let's do it. That's kind of. Yeah, that would be an example of that. The president himself has never spoken about spam phone calls. Probably doesn't know we're working on that.
I thought they passed legislation years ago to get rid of the spam phone calls, where they wouldn't be able to call your cell phone. I remember that was during the Obama administration. I remember it being a story and being like, well, that's cool, good move. Like, I don't, there was a lot of stuff I didn't like with Obama, but I was like, you know what, that's a good one, I like that. And then it never came to fruition, apparently.
In light of this claim that Trump's subordinates are making decisions for him without his knowledge, based on their assumptions about his preferences and completely disregarding any kind of cost or budget analysis, we arranged another meeting with a White House budget official to get his perspective on the budgetary and financial decisions being made within the Trump administration.
I brought you something.
You brought me something? No way. Oh my God. That's
it's
great.
For real, right?
It's for real.
Benjamin Elliston is a senior budget
He's just flexing. He's just flexing hard. I wonder what country he's from. He has an accent. I wonder which one.
Analyst and funding manager for the White House. He has been in this role since 2024, which involves overseeing and approving budget funding for various proposals at the White House.
I can't believe this is real.
Really?
I have to touch it. I gotta touch it. Give me your hands.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I have to touch you. Creeper. Creeper, no creeping.
There is so many fake people online.
I know.
Oh my God, there's so many fake profiles.
It's sad.
It's crazy.
It's sad.
Bit of an accent. He's talking about fake people. Maybe Nigerian?
It's crazy. It's so refreshing.
Yeah. So what's your job title again?
Budget analyst and funds analyst.
And you're at the what office again?
The executive office of the president.
Wow. Okay.
I like it. I like the prestige.
The senior budget official oversees funding and budget management for projects such as the White House ballroom renovation, and goes on to divulge that the funding for the ballroom has been exclusively coming from private donors, which Elliston deems to be problematic and a possible source of corruption.
All that renovation, we oversees all of that stuff.
Oh, really? Do you know how much money that costs?
I think it's something like $400 million now. And he's doing more than what he told us initially. Like before it was just a ballroom, but now
Yeah, that's what I saw. And it's
secret
like everything.
basement for military
Oh my God, really?
operations and stuff. So he claims it's been done, it's been built, been sponsored by all private donations. No one knows where the money is coming from. So, and people are just opening up their wallet just.
You guys don't even know where the money comes from? That's like kind of concerning.
It's more than concerning. Like me as a government employee, right? The most I can accept as a gift, any government employee, is like it's $25. Well, you just accept, and he's a government employee too, so it doesn't really matter.
Benjamin goes on to reveal that Trump was also gifted a $400 million jumbo jet from Qatar, which he also deems to be a corruptive influence, and claims that the government is going to spend over $1 billion taxpayer dollars to, quote, retrofit the plane into a new Air Force One.
He just accepts.
I mean, a new Air Force One's probably a good thing. I don't like that price tag, but I mean, you could at least make a justification for the national security or the security of the president, whoever the president may be. Maybe.
The plane from.
What's up, Rotex? Good to see you. Jew tunnels under the ballroom. Oh no! I haven't seen you in the chat in a minute, Rotex. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button. Mitch, the Robo Killer answering machine app thing, that was great and hilarious. Yeah, I've I've got I've got an iPhone, so it does an automatic thing where you can have it field a spam call for you, and it tells them to like, hey, if you've got a name, tell me your name and why you're calling, and then a lot of the times they just hang up because they're spam. So
Qatar,
Trump?
yeah, a $400 million jumbo jet plane. He can't just fly the plane; they have to retrofit the plane. Basically turn it into another Air Force One. So he has set the plane for $400 million, and then they're going to spend, the last estimate, $1 billion of our taxpayer dollars to retrofit the plane. This is just corruption. It's just blazing and outrageous.
You mean
White
brazen?
House budget official even goes on to accuse the Trump administration of insider trading, claiming that they are intentionally using the war in Iran to manipulate the price of oil for personal financial benefit.
I mean, maybe.
That knows that he affects
Howard Lutnick sure has some stuff going on.
How people react to the stock market. So one of the things that it looks like it's going on.
Apparently, his closed-door hearing did not go very well the other day.
Going on a lot is insider.
Because he was buddy-buddy with Epstein.
Trading. Like, for instance, with the war going on in Iran, the price of oil is expensive. Shootout, right? The raw crude that they use to make gas.
Do you know how much we're like spending on this war?
They estimated roughly says $1 billion a day.
A day?
A day. $1 billion a day.
Oof.
The claims made by Benjamin here are certainly quite concerning and newsworthy. And to be clear, it's not illegal for Benjamin to voice these concerns. However, if people like Benjamin are being given authority to make decisions on behalf of the Trump administration or Trump himself, this could severely compromise the administration's goals, and things take a much darker turn.
No, it's not done yet, Sartorius. Damn it! Stick's okay. I haven't watched anything from him. I do pray for him, even though he might not. I don't think he said he just doesn't like the prayer, but I have not watched Sticks in a while, so.
And as the date goes on, Benjamin starts to open up even more to
genuinely, I do pray for him, and I hope he ends up being okay.
Our journalist about having a much stronger disdain for Trump than he initially revealed, using charged language, repeatedly stating, "We've got to get rid of him."
We have to get rid of Trump. Seriously. He's a mess. He's fucking it up for everybody.
This guy needs to be fired yesterday. Benjamin Elliston.
Yeah.
We gotta get rid of him.
Yeah.
With him at the top, it's next to impossible to do anything. He's a madman. Literally. He's invincible. Nothing can stop him. And that's dangerous.
I mean, it seems like some judges have been stopping him.
The way
in certain aspects. Other judges, good rulings. There's been some good rulings. Some, not so much. A random district judge apparently has a lot more power than the president. That's weird.
Decisions are so erratic, you would think he drinks. He doesn't drink. And that's what makes it so dangerous, that someone could be of sound mind and body, totally coherent, could just be so reckless in their decision making.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Wow.
As Benjamin proceeds to reiterate over and over that Trump should never be president, saying ominous things like, "This is where it stops," the undercover journalist asked Benjamin whether his co-workers at the White House are aware that he holds so much hatred towards the president. And he replies, no, they can't know.
For some reason, they feel like America was getting too diverse, too liberal. He's being under attack and being suppressed.
I mean, yeah. There's literally a push to get rid of white folks, so yeah, I can understand why that would be a thing. But I mean, I don't think there's very much policy that has been targeted at propping up the white man.
And threatened to be a minority, so all these programmers doing that, so they want to stop it.
Even in a statement, the programs are doing that, so you want to stop them. Well, yeah, replacement is a thing that they've been doing. Didn't Besant use to be Soros's hatchet man who took down the Bank of England? Yeah, I think so.
Never be president.
That is insane.
For me, it's that simple.
That's insane.
That's where it stops.
Yeah.
So never.
No. Do people know that how you feel about the president? No.
The reason for this publication is to show you the level of disdain that many in the White House currently hold against their commander-in-chief. And if what Trump's own advisor, Maxim Lott, says is true, that Trump's subordinates often have the power to make decisions for him.
In theory, everything should sort of come from the president, but it might come from the level below him where they're like, I think I know the president well enough to say what he would say on this.
Then we find it highly concerning that people like Benjamin should be in such a position to...
Yeah, apparently Besant, this is according to an AI, so take this with a grain of salt. Brief overview here. Black Wednesday. Besant helped Soros execute the famous 1992 short against the British pound, which earned the firm over $1 billion. Ooh. He was considered to be a top lieutenant or protege of Soros, managing large portions of the firm's assets. When he left to start his own firm, Key Square Group, in 2015, Soros provided $2 billion in seed funding. And that is yet another example of Trump putting people around him that are either lefties or either lefties or just establishment cuck-servatives. Just not good, Sertorius, not good at all. What's up, Chops? It's good to see you. I remember when TDS meant that no matter the situation or condition, you hated Trump. Now it also includes those that protect and defend him at all costs. Yep. There are sycophants out there. There are sycophants. It's probably for the best that Owen has joined OMG. It's cool. It's cool to see. Yeah. I mean, he's doing his own thing too. But Brianna Morello popped on for an OMG clip as well.
Make decisions on behalf of the Trump administration while holding such a hostile perspective towards those that he is supposed to be serving. It begs the question, how secure are the Trump administration's goals when such high-level officials are actively motivated against Trump's agenda?
Oh, man.
Hey, is this Benji?
Well, it makes you wonder what kind of stuff higher-level officials are saying, like Scott Bessent, who was a Soros stooge for the longest.
Speaking. I'd like to get your comment. You said, quote, "We've got to get rid of Trump. What are you planning on doing to get rid of the president?" That's your quote.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. We have to get rid of Trump. Seriously.
You said, quote, "We've got to get rid of Trump. He's dangerous. That's where it stops." What did you mean by that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also reached out to Maxim Lott. He said, quote, "I went out with an individual I thought was a genuine person, but it goes
I honestly feel bad for this guy.
to show how insidious politics in this city can be. Nothing I said was contradictory of this administration. I remain fully committed in helping carry out its agenda."
And as always, if you are on the inside of any government agency, federal, state, or local office, and you see corruption, if you know the American people are being lied to, reach out to us. Email us at tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or text 914-491-9395. An OMG journalist will get back to you. Stay tuned.
There's a whole science behind eliciting information out of people.
We leverage online dating platforms like Hinge, Bumble, or Tinder.
Until you match with someone of public importance that you go meet with undercover.
Little did I know I was talking to a senior person within the CIA.
Are you recording me?
No, I'm not okay with this. Stop it.
American Swiper. Swiper, no swiping. Well, that's interesting stuff. Definitely not a good look that we've got. We still have subversives in the White House. Not good. Not good at all. Let me try to move this up here. Oh, there we go. That's better. Keep them out of my field of view there. A little bit 17, George. Let's see, it was 105 today. Damn, nearly no pants. Sadly, the mother-in-law is staying the night. Yeah, you probably got to have your pants on if the mother-in-law's staying over. Hopefully you have a decent relationship with your mother-in-law. Yeah, let's see. I will say that there is a strange section of X that is full of engagement farming boomers / bots / foreigners that express very little independent thought and will do whatever Trump tells them to. It's quite sad. If you really support the man / admin, you have to be able to call out the bad when it happens. Stop being sheep like the left. I believe that. There are people, there's this weird groups on X that are literally like just slop accounts that all they do is they have their little chat groups and rooms where they'll repost each other, and it's an engagement farming just jerk off fest. It's a circle jerk. It's weird. But oh, she's a normie. That's weird. Damn. You got to be careful with them, Entropy. You got to be careful with them. But on X, it just kind of keeps happening. But what's up, Zero or Die Loser? Good to see you. But no, there are some weird accounts on X that literally get like 60 to 70,000 people following them because they get a bunch of engagement from each other, and it's like this weird pyramid scheme that they do. They had me in one of those groups for a minute there, and I'm just like, after I was like in there for a little bit, I'm like, this is gay. You guys are literally using real accounts as like bots, like organic bots, to get push your stuff out, but it's not reciprocal. And it's like, okay, well, this is stupid, and this isn't real, and I'd rather just have fun. I'm here on X to get in fights with cultists and commies. Follow me on the X Machine, at Bulldozer74 __, and you will get to see some of that. Boom, there's a banner. It'll be up for a sec. Or also just Dozer74. Should get you to where you need to go. I've been stuck at about a little over 4,000 followers for the last, 2 or 3 months. X will not let me grow. Let my X account grow. But it won't. 65 and rain, fresh and green and growing in the Midwest. Extra blue sky. It is quite, it's cool. It's quite cool here. If I wanted jerked off, I'd get a hooker, just saying. Well, there you go, 17 George. There you go. To each their own. To each their own. I hope inflation goes back down. I hope they're able to get this stuff in Iran fixed up and done. And, It's not a, there are people like Fuentes that are completely just throwing a fit and saying, fine, I'll vote for the Democrats or something, which I don't think he actually is going to do that. And I think even in the discussion with Crowder, he says that he's not going Democrat. Good. I think sometimes, Fuentes says things to get attention. Like with Trump a lot of the time. Trump will say things to get attention. I don't think today was one of those times, but maybe. I doubt it. I think he was just being flippant and just saying it like he feels it. Yep. No, he should be thinking about Americans' financial situation. But here we have a debate: Crowder versus Fuentes 2.0. We're not going to watch all of it tonight. I might increase the speed, see how it feels when we're watching it. If you guys like it at the speed it is, we can keep it there. I think I'm going to go ahead and start at 1.25. If that is okay with you guys. If that's too fast, we will go back to normal, okay? Let's listen to it. We're going to react, do a little bit of a live react to this debate between Crowder and Fuentes. Let's get into it.
He didn't. They went dung, 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 dung.
He stole it like he stole black culture.
And he went dung, 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 dung.
Too many dongs for me.
Come on.
That.
I dong.
We have a nice guest, Nick Fuentes. Sure, he's late and big time in me, but... No, I'm kidding. Nick did reach out ahead of time and let us know that he was running late. So that's why we ran some of the best of intros here for you. And actually, there's a new one, the Matrix commercial. You can go to foundationdaily.com. It's a multivitamin with clinical doses of turmeric and curcumin at their clinically effective doses. Clinical ingredients, clinically effective doses. You can go and check out the science right at foundationdaily.com. Save 40%. It's the world's best multivitamin, and that's because a lot of crappy supplement companies have been trying to sponsor the show, and we've said no! Now, Nick Fuentes is going to be on the show here in the next few minutes, as I understand it. So you guys let me know when we have him on. And the best place, Toolman, so people know where Nick Fuentes' show and channel is. Might as well plug that.
Yeah, it's America First. Here, I'll throw the full screen up again. Here you go. His X is at Nick J. Fuentes, and his Rumble is the same.
And look, what do I expect from today? We'll be taking your chats later. I'll tell you, I expect it to be probably similar in tone to last time, but this time there's that was very broad. It was a general conversation because a lot of people haven't had him on their show. People are saying, I can't believe that you would platform someone. I mean, look, I think now we know it's not about platforming anyone. There are people with far more abhorrent views than Nick Fuentes, who we've also invited on the show. You don't have that luxury. There are many people out there with platforms who have influence, and it's important to engage in a form of ideas. And right now, it's very clear that Nick Fuentes and I disagree on a strategy moving forward, particularly as it relates to midterms, the future of the country, general elections. So it's more of a political discussion, but I think we'll probably get into cultural, the social ramifications. And, a lot of people want me to hate Nick Fuentes. First off, I don't really hate anybody, to be clear. It's hard to hate a kid who shows up, and he's funny. He's funny. There's no way to get around the fact that Nick Fuentes is funny. And
he is. He's charismatic, and he is humorous.
For me, if someone's funny, it's very disarming. I will sooner lie and say that I love somebody than falsely claim somebody is funny.
Yeah, you never saw any funny communists.
Well, they probably existed. And they were killed immediately.
I would like them a little more.
Yeah, it's like how many Bolsheviks does it take to? You don't get to finish.
No, they don't
finish with communists. So, as I understand it, we do have Nicholas Fuentes on the show. Has he settled in? Because hopefully he's not rushing in. I don't want him to be stressed.
No, he looks ready.
Settled. He looks ready. Well, he was born ready. This is what he does. This is what he loves. Sometimes I'm an unwilling participant, but all right, everybody, it's time. Red corner, blue corner. I don't know. It's not a debate. It's gonna be a conversation. Let's welcome on Nick Fuentes. All right, Senior Fuentes. Thank you for being. Can you see me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you well. First off, you big time. You show up late, and it's the one time you're not wearing a suit. You do the hoodie. What is this?
It's early for me, Steven. I do a nightly show, so this is like it's early in the morning over here. 10:30 for a show. All
right,
that's crazy.
No, and I appreciate you letting me know and being accommodating last week where we had a doctor's appointment that I couldn't avoid. Hey, first off, where's the best place for people to find you? And I apologize, I'm looking down because I kind of have to look to see you on the monitor as opposed to my, you know how that is. Best place for people to find
that was a short joke.
You when you stream.
I am at rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes every Monday through Friday.
All right, Greg. And X, you're there now, right?
Yes, I'm still on X. Nick J. Fuentes there as well.
Okay. Well, I figured we start this off. I think last time, right? It was fair. It was a fun conversation. We had some disagreements. I'm hoping we can continue on that path. If you're good with it. Yeah,
absolutely.
And you fully have permission, by the way, to respectfully be disrespectful. I think there's enough rapport. You can call me names, whatever that is. Treat me like a buddy. Like a buddy who's assy kick in the locker room. Now, speaking of which, I did want to show you. I don't know if you saw our coverage of you rightfully shoving that lady who showed up to your house, but I have that clip on a loop on my computer,
clip.
like a morphine drip. Just because of how much I enjoy it. For people who haven't seen it, you were well with it. And were you surprised at the level of defense you got even from detractors who didn't like you?
I was, and from Reddit. It was on the front page of Reddit, and all the Redditors were defending me too. So yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit more maybe negative or maybe even split, but it was almost like 90% of people said I was in the right. So it's surprising.
I was a little surprised too, but I think that does indicate that people are tired of this shit. Because once upon a time, people went, well, he deserves it, that kind of stuff. So there's been a noticeable shift, I think, post Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, well, and I think people recognize you cross a boundary like that, and everybody understands people all have a home, and they don't want to be bothered at their home. Everybody recognizes we disagree. Everything's very politically charged right now, but we want to feel safe where we live. So I think there's something to that. We're definitely making some progress, I think.
Well, I want to show the clip for people who missed it, and then I don't know if you saw when we covered it, we did a Photoshop with it. But first, for those who missed it, the clip, awesome. The internet agrees he was well within his rights, and prepare to laugh. I love her reaction. Wait, what?
Oh my God, what are you doing?
I think she's surprised. Hold on a second, pause. Nick, you know what I love about that? You walk back like both a cartoon character / Bigfoot who's annoyed. Like your arms are down here like this. Like you don't even seem that aggravated. Like this was just a day at the office. What? Oh my God. And then she turns to her friend who does nothing. Her friend is Judas. Keep playing. There's so many elements here that I just love. All right, gonna take your phone.
Yeah.
And then she turns to her friend. What? She didn't even roll down her window. She half opens it. By the way, park in front of a fire hydrant.
Oh, what jerks.
And then I said, my favorite part is it gave us what should have been Time's photo of the year. This right here. Like that to me, that picture, it looks like a 70s horror film. And so we turned it into a poster for you where it was, there you go. Yeah. The step right. The next thing streaming could be you. So it's just, you really, it reminded me of the step. But that was a lot of fun. I'm glad to see that, you got some support. And even though if we disagree on some things, it is dangerous out there. I think, would we agree on this, that definitely the left as a whole is violent, and those who have achieved power in our institutions, namely academia, media, big tech, the entertainment industry, we could use, I know that you probably would point out Jewry as well. I say the Marxist left. We'll get into that. But enemies of America that I think we both want, that kind of America, have seized significant power in the institutions in our country, and they are a threat. Will we find common ground on that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it's no question there is a scourge of left-wing violence. I talked about this on my show, even when Luigi Mangione killed that healthcare CEO. It was Thomas Crooks, Luigi Mangione, and then that seemed to ignite this cycle of violence then against Charlie Kirk, against Donald Trump. Even now they say the wildfires in the Palisades was started by some crazed radical leftist. Yep. So there's no question that that is going on. And like you say, it's organized and exact.
And I think Karen Bass was aware of what was happening.
Exacerbated by the organized institutional left. So I think we're 100% agreement on that.
Okay, good. Now let's get to the part here where we disagree. And I think it's a political strategy prescription. So to be clear, we did play the clip where you said, I'm a moderate Democrat now. I said, look, I think that's hyperbole. I think he's making the point here. So I don't want to do the whole, he's a leftist or he's a Nazi. Let's start this way. How about I steel man your argument as I understand it, and you can let me know if I have a decent grasp or correct me.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So my view is you're issuing a political strategy, right? You are not a leftist. You are not a Democrat. But okay, Republicans have taken your vote for granted. They have not been held accountable. They haven't delivered on any of the promises that they've made. Americans are feeling this right now, particularly young Americans in this economy. They feel as though they're not represented and they're being sold out to big corporate interests, including, by the way, a foreign nation like Israel, placing that above the interests of American citizens. And so we need to speak the only language they understand, which is defeat, make it sting in the midterms, vote Democrat in 2026, so that it will pave the way or allow for a candidate who more effectively represents America first or a true version of their constituency.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary, yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you think I've gotten wrong or would correct?
The vote Democrat is such a petulant response that I cannot no. If you gotta not vote, I get it. I get not wanting to vote, at least in federal elections at this point. I understand. To say you're going to vote for the Democrats, that's fucking retarded. Just is. Steven's too excited to see Nick unless it's the speed. Oh, sorry, it's I do have it at 1.25. How are you guys liking the 1.25? Do you want me to slow it down again, or slow it down to normal speed? I can do so if you guys want that. Fires. Interesting. But if the 1.25 is okay, we'll leave it there. If not, we'll go normal. So.
I would add another layer to it because to me it is a two-parter. It's for 2026, but it also is there's a very significant part of it that's looking ahead to 2028 as well. But that's a big part of it. That's, let's say, half of it.
Okay, good. Now do mine.
Well, I think that, you voted for Trump in 2024. I think you'll be voting Republican in 26 and 28. And I think you would probably say that the left is always going to be worse. The Democrats are always going to be worse. And so voting for something worse is always going to be bad. If we want Republicans to be better, we should maybe focus on primaries. And what's more, Republicans are holding back something far worse, which is always going to come from the Democrats. Things like open borders, not only no mass deportations, but also no borders, not only war with Iran, but maybe war with Russia, continuing the war in Ukraine. Basically, it only exacerbates our problems. It doesn't actually solve them. Would be something like, I think your position is.
I think that's actually relatively fair. I would probably add some layers too. It's multi-pronged. Like I'm certainly not, I've had plenty of instances where I've not voted Republican, but I've said I am precluded from voting Democrat. So that's a non-starter for me. But I have left it blank when I've had Republicans on the ticket in elections, and I can't, because as a crisis of conscience, I can't violate it and vote for this person. I've even voted third party in local elections because it's different from national. I think we also both operate. That's one thing I appreciate about you. You're not just.
Yeah, I'm actually very similar in that regard because I voted for Blue Dog Democrats for county clerks because they're reasonable individuals and they were doing a good job. So the speed means nothing to me. Gotcha. Watch everything at 2 times anyways. I got you. Stop with the imaginary 2-party hoax. Yeah, a little bit. No, well, and like on I've definitely voted I've voted third party quite a bit locally. Never voted third party for a federal office, but I could see myself doing so. You guess it was just Steve. Yeah, he's a bit peppy. He's a bit peppy. A little bit amped.
System, man, third party, let's vote Gary Johnson. Like, that under universal suffrage, it's a 2-party system, and you have to work within that to affect change, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hate it. I mean, he's probably right, but I hate it.
And I appreciate you being more genuine about that because a lot of people online just throw their hat and they'll keep you worrying with each other. So I don't want to do that silly crap today. Okay, so flesh out the plan. I disagree.
Good.
Vote Democrat in 2026. Why? And then walk me through the plan.
So, in 2024, I didn't vote Republican. I recused myself. I just told people not to vote. Everybody thinks I voted for Kamala, but I didn't. I just told people to withhold their vote. But in 2026, what really did it for me was the war in Iran. I think that, for me, that was the red line. We were promised no new wars. We got a war in Iran. And I really believe that if you vote for Republicans after that, it's almost like you'll tolerate anything, because that's such an explicit betrayal and on a very serious matter. And then what's more, to maybe get into the positive reason for voting Democrat as opposed to withholding your vote or not voting Republican, is I think that when you look at the House of Representatives in particular, and I say this on my show, they exercise oversight powers under the Constitution. And so they can depose, they can compel the...
But it's kind of something that we just have to deal with, I guess.
They, set against the Republicans, will actually work to slow down the administration. And it's not just that the administration is not doing things.
Yeah, it sounds like he is an accelerationist, Entropy Nomad, and that is really, it's a really easy position for a single man with no kids to take. I'll say that. For the single men out there that have no children and very little family involvement or concern, being an accelerationist is a very easy path to go down. If you have a family and a career and all that, well, accelerationism is not your friend.
They're doing things that are bad. They did try to bury the Epstein files. And if it wasn't for the Democrats and a handful of Republicans, they would have never seen the light of day. And
I'd give more credit to Massey and people like Boebert and MTG on that.
then you have the War Powers Resolution in the Senate, which got shut down basically along party lines, with one exception, which was John Fetterman.
I agree,
and and then you have a group of Democrats, this is just last week, they put out a letter to the White House asking to disclose Israel's nuclear program. So
yeah, that'd be nice.
I would like to see actually
So
Democrats...
Can you repeat that last part just for people who maybe missed it? There was a lot of rapid fire, disclosing the nuclear program.
Yeah, there was a group of 20 House Democrats. They signed a letter to the White House basically asking the White House to acknowledge that Israel has a nuclear arsenal, because they believe, and I think it's correct, that the lack of disclosure about that creates a risk of miscalculation or escalation. We don't know where Israel's red line is when they would use a nuke. So these are just like a few examples where I think that it's actually a good thing for Democrats to have a divided government with Republicans and slow down and challenge some of the things that are going on, because I think they're not good. And then, if you will, do you want to stop there and then get on to the other part, or do you want me to finish?
Well,
the
no,
whole
I
thing?
think so. So let's take all of that, let's take it in totality. First off, I still don't think it's anywhere comparable to the actual progress, the wins that have been made under the Trump administration. Like, I wouldn't say and also, I don't think that these are things that you couldn't force Republicans to do. For example, it's a pretty popular position, at least in my experience with Republicans on this show, to remove this ambiguity, this unofficial ambiguity as far as Israeli nukes. I also agree with that.
God, that whole thing about the mass is such bullshit. They're trying to smear Massey right before a midterm election, or not a midterm, primary. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. There's no evidence. She's shown, like, the person that's accusing Massey of this apparently has accused multiple people, was accusing the father of her children in a custody dispute or something like that, and the court dismissed the accusations outright. She's running for a school board position in Okaloosa County or Okaloosa, Florida, and apparently has accused a principal or superintendent of some very similar things. There's literally no evidence that she has provided. So, nah, it's a smear against Massey, and it's silly and honestly pathetic. If you got any receipts, put the receipts. Things. You know what's not silly, though, guys? What's not silly is going to www.BuiltOnUSA.com to get you some of that amazing, magnificent, marvelous meat in your mouth. Use promo code DOZER for 10% off your order of that amazing, amazing meat. Guys, it's got protein, iron, zinc, creatine, magnesium, potassium, all kinds of good old nutrients, chocked full of them, guys, chock full of nutrients. You know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have any added soy, gluten, or soy, gluten, or what's the other one? Sugars. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. Sugars added because Anton would not do you dirty like that, okay? Anton, he's a South African immigrant that came to this country with a very, very simple dream of spreading his meat across the land. You can help him achieve that goal by going to BuiltOnUSA.com and using promo code DOZER for 10% off your order of that amazing meat. Guys, those 8-ounce bags do make excellent gifts. Get you some meat. You could also get you some Rooibos tea or some imported goods, sugary stuff if you do want to carb it up. But if you're going to carve it up, do it with BuiltOnUSA.com and Anton, guys, because it's a good company, it's good people, it's good products. You will not regret any money that you spend with BuiltOnUSA.com. Tell them Dozer sent you. Thanks, Mod King. Appreciate you. Let's see. Kind of funny how sexual misconduct charges come from the Epstein class. Yeah, Miriam Adelson. Some of the people that are funding Messi's opponent, Ed Galbraith, absolutely silly. Absolutely silly that this is it's just silliness. I don't like it. I don't like it that, it's literally just because the EFTA. That's all it's about.
I don't think that it outweighs the mammoth wins, but let's assume that, okay, it's a wash for the sake of this. What I really want to know is, okay, so you vote Democrat. I think you and I would both acknowledge, because you've said that voting Democrat is a way to punish Republicans. You're not going to get the change in the system with the Democrat Party. Do I have that right? This is about fundamentally changing the Republican Party through accountability.
Absolutely. Yes, totally.
Okay, good. Just because I don't want people to misconstrue what you just said. Like, so see, Democrats are actually good. Like,
I agree, Entropy Nomad.
Some bullshit that they throw in every now and then. What do you do after that? So in other words, you're saying this will lead us to a consistent or more representative victory, 2028. What's the roster? Where are the funds? What's the ground game, right? Because it's a big risk, handing the country over to the left. We know what they want to do.
Well,
yeah, I think Fuentes is very, very stupid. It's a very stupid approach from him on this.
Oh, and see, this is where it gets interesting, and this is where we might disagree on some things. So the way
he
that
is
I
smart.
see it, 2028 is really what it's all about. I really believe that this administration is just cooked. Like, I don't think there's going to be a course correction. I have no faith in this administration. I think Trump is old. The people around him are very bad. And so I think the real question is, and this is a huge question, who will be Trump's successor? Because that person is going to define the direction of the party. And I really believe there should be a very competitive primary for the presidential race in 28. And what they're trying to do is consolidate support around either Vance or Rubio. As I'm sure you know, behind the scenes, there's a very big fight going on between donors.
Yeah, so far, I do really like the debate. And sign of a good debate when the sides can frame one another. Yeah, I think this is a healthy discussion so far. And I don't know how the whole scene the last or
and between party personnel, are they going to get behind Rubio?
Still do not trust Fuentes.
Which he seems to have the backing of the neocons.
After, some of the stuff he did on January 6th, that was kind of messed up.
And Mark Levin and AIPAC and Miriam Adelson, or are they going to get behind Vance, who has the support of Little Tech, Palantir, Tucker, and he's going to clearly run in the more America First lane. At least nominally, he's going to claim that. And I think that we should not have consolidation where it's 80% behind one candidate. I think it should be wide open. I also don't like either Rubio or Vance, because I think you get a neocon or a Palantir guy. And so to me, the only way to have an open field is if everyone associated with the administration is sufficiently weakened. So I'm actually
okay, so one of the big things about J.D. Vance that people will bring up is Palantir. I don't know how bad of a connection that is when apparently the government's going to be is already using Palantir as it is. So it's like he's a Palantir fellow, I guess, or at least was heavily invested in with Palantir. Like they were invested in him as a person, as a candidate. I don't know. The Palantir thing makes me raise my eyebrow, but I don't know enough about it to really have that solid of an opinion on that. But you glad you didn't watch this earlier so it's new to me? Well, heck yeah.
For Democrats to degrade and sabotage this administration and the people in it so that they're less politically viable. And maybe that clears the way for a dark horse or an outsider, someone from outside the MAGA, Mar-a-Lago, Trump administration to maybe clinch the nomination in 28. And to me, that's really the big picture.
Okay, so here's my primary problem, what you just said. And it's a keyword maybe. So my first question is the roster. You say, yeah, competitive primary. I agree. I hear who you don't want. The roster, the funds, the ground game. Maybe, right? Because you've tried this before. It's failed. The losses are real, the Democrats that we faced. So I would argue, I think it'd be tough to argue against. Worst 3 years in modern American history. The wins, the potential wins that you're describing are imaginary with no concrete. And I know that you talked about this with Dan Bilzerian, so I'm not trying to sandbag you here, but if I'm going, okay, there's a risk. It's a political play. Well, I won't be able to take part, along with many conservatives, Republicans, because I cannot vote Democrat. Doesn't mean I'll vote for Republicans all across the board. Can't vote Democrat. But the roster, the funds, the ground game. The things that you need to win elections in 2028 through the major.
I have no idea what that is, Entropy Nomad. Did I watch the Juju? No. Juju is more than a puppet for Theo. Huh. No, I have not seen that.
Risk of handing the country over to Democrats when we know that means open borders, packing the courts, turning them into citizens, right, DEI back in the administration, H-1B skyrocketing again, all of that. Huge risk, concretes, so we see the payoff.
See, and this is where you might disagree, because I think that's maybe the best argument against it. And you're 100% right. It is an extremely risky play, and I don't underestimate that risk at all, and I don't want to understate it. But here's my reframe. Here's kind of like my game theory reframe of it, is I really believe that this country has serious problems with the debt, with the border. They want a $1.5 trillion budget for the military alone. The Republicans do. We got this war in the Middle East. I really believe that without a radical intervention, like a radically different approach, whether we get a Democrat or lesser of two evils Republican, like a continuity with what we have under Trump, I think that's a no-win proposition. Like if it's Gavin Newsom, J.D. Vance, or Marco Rubio, if those are our options, and let's say everybody else in the Democratic field, I don't see any of those candidates solving it, fixing it. To me, it's really just a question of how fast or how slow it's all going to come crumbling down. And so that's the only reason why I say if we degrade the two people in this administration, it's sort of like we know what we're going to get with them, and we know it's not going to be radical enough. At least if we tear them down, it's a huge maybe, but then there's an opening that something radical may appear. And I've got some people in mind. I wouldn't say them, of course, because you know that game about who's going to run and who's going to throw their hat in the ring, and then my endorsement might hurt that person if they're characterized as the Groyper Caesar or something.
I don't think so. I mean, we have examples of that right here. I mean, Ken Paxton, who you may or may not like, but like Brandon Herrera, who was on the show, you know, he won his primary. We had him on the show. I knew him through the GunTube community, and he directly went up against AIPAC. They put out a hit on him, figuratively, to be clear to people watching. He fought them, and he's.
They might have had a real one. Who knows? But anyway, hey guys, do not forget to hit that repost button and share this with everybody you know.
Going to win. He's going to win his seat. He then won the primary. So no, you could have an effect. I actually think it's a requirement, frankly, considering the risk. If we both acknowledge it, the risk is you say something radical could happen. With the answer you're giving me now, something radical will happen. It's the radical that we experienced from...
Shit. Neurodivergent one. I like the Vance pick for VP. Then again, I also liked Pence, so not sure I can even trust myself anymore. Ain't that how it is sometimes, though, Mod King? Ain't that how it is? I never liked Pence. He just struck me as fake and robotic, and I just I understood why. It's like you gotta pick a squishy, basic, conservative person in Pence. That was the reasoning that I how I rationalized it, but I was not excited about Pence. There were much better ones. J.D. Vance, I was kind of excited about J.D. Vance, and I still like how J.D. Vance comes across. The Palantir thing, if I look into it a little bit more, and I think really I need somebody to explain exactly why the Palantir thing is so bad. I mean, I know Peter Thiel himself strikes me as maybe kind of just a tad evil. I don't know. Some of the statements that he's made, like the whole thing about the Antichrist, was kind of weird. And do humans just deserve to exist? Kinda. He took way too long in his response to that. Way too long. Not good. Herrera was always the superior representative. The machine kept him away from power to make corrections. Yep. Over here on Rumble and Pilled, General Samuel Fields. Thank you for watching in all the places.
2020 through 2024.
And thanks for the two people watching on the YouTube.
Upside, you do got to give a name. You do have to give some finances and a ground game for us to take that risk. Because I don't think, and I'll make the case here, I don't think there's an equivalency. If you look at the actual record, Nick, when Democrats controlled the Senate, gave us open borders, record inflation, right, at 9.1%, trillions in new spending.
Yeah.
They, of course, stopped deportations. They stopped building the wall. They put DEI, they had a Department of Misinformation. Trump 2.0 has put us for the first time in net negative immigration, record deportations, over $1 trillion in cuts. Not to mention doing away with DEI in the administration, some huge Supreme Court wins that actually pave the way going forward. And H-1Bs are a really big thing, I know, because you ran billboards on them. They are not the same. These are actually, I would say, and I think it'd be hard-pressed to argue against whether they're enough. They are these.
Thank you so much to Entropy Nomad for that $2 Rumble rant. Appreciate the heck out of that. The warning, it's pretty bad. I'll check it out here in a second. Well, yeah, we'll check it out. Thank you so much for that. Turn in the chat an awesome shade of green. Guys, and I do like green. First of all, green is my favorite color. But one of the things that happens when we have green is it reminds me to tell you guys to... Hulk! Smash! that like button, guys. To be clear, I did Tower of Hits. Yeah. Oh, shoot. My bad. Yeah, that's one thing. Okay, so Canvas Legacy doesn't have a toggle that I could actually decrease the volume. That's one of the things that I do like about Canvas 2.0 or Canvas, beta. But I'm using Canvas Legacy because I was hoping that I wasn't going to see any freezing or glitching whenever I'm scrolling through the media. But I actually noticed a little bit today. So maybe I'll just go back to using Canvas Legacy. What I'll do is I'll probably kind of alternate back and forth between Legacy and 2.0 and see about that. But let me look really quick here. Shit, 17 minutes. Oh my gosh. What is that? What is that? Good God. When JD Vance, Peter Thiel, Pete Hegseth, and Jared Kushner take a cruise through the Strait of Hormuz, things don't go according to plan. It's 1 month ago. I'll be checking. We might save that for Saturday. That's funny looking though. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a premium stream, even though I've got my 5 hours. But Hulk isn't as loud as the blue. Got you. Yeah, one of the blue ones is pretty loud, and that's why Entropy says for Sangland, because it's a loud one. And I didn't play the loud one. I'm sorry, but it was Piper Alley. So why am I doing this? Go back to sure. There. Back to this. I'll scroll through that later. Entropy. It looks funny. It looks like it's up my alley. I'll watch that.
The single biggest rightward shift domestically that we have seen in modern American history, and that includes Reagan, Nixon, anyone else. So the risk is what we lived through. That's guaranteed to happen unless we have concrete.
Yeah, what I would push back on is I really think that you think you're overstating some of the wins. To me, I would just say it's too little too late. I mean, as far as like open borders, that's my favorite one because Trump ran in 2016 saying, we're going to build a border wall. And why a border wall? Because it cannot be torn down. You build a physical structure. Democrats can't undo that. If it's an executive order, like Remain in Mexico or some of those other architecture, they can, and they did. And so it was really Trump.
17 George saying, I found out why Trump seemed off in that news clip. He had just seen the O'Keefe clip we watched. Interesting if true. Maybe. I mean, the second guy was pretty rough. The first guy,
failure to build a border wall. And he enforced it through executive orders, which is why Democrats were able to come in and say, oh, we're just going to undo all of that. And you might say, well, okay, Trump has another crack at it, and the border is secure now. It's like record low crossings. There's no apprehensions at the border. However, it seems that once again, he's given up on the wall. You know, you've got
That's incorrect,
coming
Nick.
up.
That's incorrect. Nick, he has built more of the wall in his first 6 months than all 4 years of Biden. And it's on track to be done in 2027. Let's call it 28. It's
How
just
much
not
wall has he
factually
built this year?
This last year, it's been, as I understand it, hundreds of feet, and they're going to be putting up digital security, right, because there's certain areas and terrain that are a little bit more complicated, but more than Biden in 4 years. And you're saying vote for those people for 4 years. So there is a difference building anything than nothing. And I agree with you, by the way, like a good example, H-1Bs. Remember, you ran those billboards, right?
Yeah.
And you and I were on the same page. I don't know if you saw this. I was going hard at Elon Musk on X, on H-1Bs, and President Trump. And by the way, got into an argument with Vivek in person. I suggested a 3-point plan. One of them was a 6-figure fee. So you put up, have you told your audience about the unfathomable wins on H-1Bs?
Well, I believe they hit the cap for H-1Bs last year, did they not, in 2025?
So 26% reduction in issuances, and new overseas H-1Bs, meaning people who are not in this country, down 87%. They were up anywhere from 20 to 90% under Biden. The denial rate was like 1%, 2% on a really good day. 87% reduction on new overseas H-1Bs with a $100,000 fee. If you put up billboards and people are upset about that, and you and I are in the same camp, have you told your audience about that win? That's the biggest shift we've ever seen in H-1Bs. It's not even close.
Again, yeah, I just don't think that's really, when you say, well, they're building hundreds of feet of border wall, that's more than Biden. Well, there's a 26% reduction in H-1Bs. They hit the cap, I believe, 127,000 last year.
87%. Here's why. You know why. And Nick, let's both pretend that we're smart enough.
Okay.
The president has broad powers over people coming into this country, right? New H-1Bs. And I see this a lot where he gets no credit for executive orders. But then when things get blocked and cut, they also blame Donald Trump and go, why didn't he get these cuts? Well, that's because of 100% of Democrats. And yes, some feckless Republicans. We should know them by name, the Thunes, the Murkowskis, the Collins of the world who should be voted out. But he has broad powers on who's coming in the country. He can slap 100,000 on that, and he did. 87% reduction. To deal with the bulk of H-1Bs, people who are extending them, that would require an act of Congress. So the most potent tool that he has as president, he enacted an 87% reduction in new people coming over. People should know that if they're going to say both sides are the same.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just not sure, but I believe he hit the cap for H-1Bs last year. It was 127,000 came in.
You're always going to hit the cap when you're talking about people extending H-1Bs. What we're talking about is new people, new Pajeets coming in, right?
Yeah.
100,000, and this is important. It also, by the way, this is your job, my job, as commentators. It shifts that Overton window where it's like, hey, we were told that they were bringing in, the Haji Elon Musk or the next brown Nikolai Tesla. Well, $100,000 fee would mean nothing. Instead, people now know these were people coming in to undercut Americans as cheap labor. So that number matters a lot. If Congress would act, you're not going to have it, especially not with more Democrats.
I would go further, though, and I would say, so you're still hitting the cap. And I would go further and say, what about all this talk about seasonal farm visas? What about this mass deportations? We're going to exempt agricultural workers. We're going to exempt farm workers, hospitality, luncheonettes. We're not going to deport anybody other than the criminal illegals.
Nick is spot on this one right here. Bad for Trump. Just bad moves by Trump on this one.
This is what I mean. It's like, because, I think maybe where we're getting stuck is it's not as if things are not improving. Like, you're 100% right.
Entropy Nomad saying, we need to recognize our wins and demand more. More.
Stand about more. 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 More.
All right, enough of that. And did we just get ourselves a raid? Oh my goodness, somebody raided this episode of the Dozer Den. Who doth it be? And we got TCAOG. Thank you so much. The Craig Allen OG. There we go. Thank you so much for raiding this episode of the Dozer Den. Appreciate you guys. Guys, if you haven't followed the Craig Allen OG, go ahead and give him a follow. Guys, if you're new to this channel, hi. I'm Bill Dozer. I call this show The Dozer Den. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, do about 3 to 4 news topics with palate cleansers sprinkled about. Saturday streams, it's a hangout stream, a decompressed stream, a chill stream for all the amazing killdozers in the Dozer Den. We might have 1 or 2 official topics, but for the most part, we take music video requests for the Dozer Den DJ Hour, where you can rock out with your cock out, jam out with your clam out. Those are the only 2 options, guys. If you're intersex, I ask that you please pick a fucking lane. Bam. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Mod King. Putting the link up there for everybody to check out. Guys, don't forget to smash the follow, smash the like, smash that repost, all those good things. All those good things. Stop celebrating illegal immigration when over 40 million Americans are on food-dependent welfare. Yeah, we need to stop. I think we should probably put a stop to immigration in general for at least a couple of years, maybe a few, like 5, and let us get stuff figured out. Country, and help people that are unemployed or struggling. Jibs! It's true. Maybe the robots will replace the illegal aliens.
Right. A Department of Labor and a DHS, they are making some policy changes. The $100,000 fee, I think that's great, and that's a great start. And cutting down the new overseas visas, that's great too. But once again, we were promised mass deportations. What's more, yet 10 million illegals come in under Biden. And so this is why I say it's just like too little too late.
I'd say
it's
more
like,
than 10, 12 to 20, depending on how you count it, but a lot.
Sure. Well, and
too many. We agree.
And this, by the way, gets back to how radical it needs. Because you could always say, and you wouldn't be wrong at all, that Republicans are going to be dead. Are they going to build more border wall? Are we going to have less H-1Bs? Are we going to have more deportations? Absolutely. But when you actually look at the numbers, it's like, okay, well, they brought in 10 to...
Yeah, we need to save yourself before you save others. I agree, S. Henson.
20 million in 4 years. Right. Even if the numbers are true and they say we arrested 600,000, maybe we only removed 300,000, you're not even making a dent in that. And you could say, well, anything counts, I would say it doesn't make a difference. Like, not really. 600,000 against 20 million, not really. And that's where I would say I favor taking the risk of getting something more radical than what we know, which is getting something that won't be anything.
Well, and I can understand that position if I believe the numbers that you throw. Here's the one thing that I do notice, and I don't think that you're a Democrat.
No,
I really don't. But you do consistently use Democrat talking points against the right, and you have this is not a primary issue, right? You've advocated that your followers either sit out or vote Democrat in 2020, 22, 24. And as a result, the big one, and this is a big problem that I've had with your approach, not you as a human being. Georgia, right? That flipped the Senate with Kamala Harris as a tiebreaker, and precisely because if people had followed, I'm not saying that you're responsible, but if people had followed your prescription in Georgia, that would be the exact reason for 10 to 20 million illegal aliens coming over an open border wall. That would be the exact reason for stopping them. That would be the exact reason for a doubling in some instances of H-1Bs. And I don't think that those changes are mild. When you say 600,000, we both know that is a point that the left will use. It's not accurate. You do have to include self-deportations because there's an incentive for self-deportations and more people are self-deporting. Next thing, I bet you'll say that Obama or Clinton deported more people. We did an entire segment on this because people on the right are saying that, and it's factually not true.
Well, I never encourage people to vote Democrat in 2022, 24. Only this is the first year I've told people to vote Democrat. All those other elections, I told people to sit out selectively or altogether. But the Georgia Senate runoff, which is, I think, what you're talking about, January 5, 2021, with Loeffler and Purdue, this is, again, it's like
he
Trump,
legit is, though.
I think we both
Damn.
agree, got cheated out of that election. Like
he legit is saying telling people to vote Democrat. Fine, nope. That's petulant. That's stomping my feet and throwing a fit. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? If you won't share your toys with me, well, I'm gonna break it, and then nobody can have it. Yeah. I'm staring with. That's it at the man in the mirror, not with the man in the mirror. At the man in the mirror, I'm asking him to change his ways.
Stole the election. At the same time, Republicans control the state legislature in all the swing states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, everywhere where that was being adjudicated, Republicans were in control, and they just refused to do anything. They refused to change the slate of electors. And at the same time that they were telling us we're not going to remedy the election, they were also begging us to vote to hold the line in the Senate. And here I am saying, wait a second, why don't we hold the line in the White House? You're worried about the Senate. And then I would add on top of that, and maybe this is going to be controversial, I actually don't think Republicans are really all that against illegal immigration. I think that
they're not.
Democrats and Republicans maybe wanted the illegals here because...
He's right. The establishment on both sides wants the illegals here. He's correct in that. And honestly, when Trump talks about hospitality and farmers and farm workers and that's, well, first of all, that's an elitist perspective. It really is. And Trump is one of the elites. He is. He talks like us kind of, but he is still up there. And that's like when he talks about, he said like gas prices were down. No, they're not. They're not down. They're up a lot. People are struggling.
There was a significant labor shortage after the pandemic ended. People were slow to return to work. They were being paid too much. And, so you could say, like, if only
Neuro, question about the clip that Entropy Nomad shared. If I played it, would I get canceled from life? Probably not. So I'll play quite a bit. There's only a few times I've vetoed something. That might be one we save for Saturday, though. We might save it for Saturday. I might be doing a fishing stream tomorrow evening, guys. Might. Entropy saying it's, oh no, damn. We'll see. Might do a fishing stream to make up for not streaming last night. By the way, sorry for not streaming last night. Kids, there's a pox upon our house. It's was strep, and then it's allergies, then it's ear infections, then, all kinds of fun stuff. So, snotty noses, coughs, all the good stuff.
Republicans had won, then there wouldn't be 10 to 20 million illegals.
But what numbers do you have to back that up? First off, Nick, come on, you did. You told people to sit out or vote. In 2022, you told them to sit out or vote Democrat. And I'll give you 2020, you said you did. But in 2020...
No, in 2020, I was pro-Trump.
No, in 2022, you told people to sit out or vote Democrat. I remember
I didn't tell them to vote Democrat in 22. I just said sit out.
No, you said sit out or vote Democrat. In 2020, you did not say vote Democrat. You said we're going to destroy the GOP and to sit out the runoff in Georgia, which is exactly what flipped the Senate, which is exactly what opened the borders and stopped the border wall and led to the woke fucking nightmare that we dealt with, right? Because if people had gone out... Okay,
got to correct the record. I got to correct the record. In 2020, in the 2020 election, I told people vote Trump. It was only in the runoff in Georgia in 21, January 5, 21.
Should suspend it permanently, damn it.
And then I said, sit this one out. In 22, I don't remember.
And I'm not going to lie, that's not a good sign that they're having to resort to suspending the the federal gas tax until the war is over. That's not a good sign that this is going to wrap up soon. So,
4 years ago, I believe I just said don't vote Republican. Like 26, it was a big deal for me to say vote Democrat because I'm not a Democrat, as you know, and I appreciate you clarifying that. But no, I've only told people to sit out. This is the first year.
His body language was weird when he said that, just saying.
I'm saying punish them. And I guess the larger point is maybe we just disagree on the level of complicity of the Republicans. I think they're utterly complicit because even going back to, and this is formative for me, Trump won in 16 saying border wall. And you remember Republicans wouldn't give him more than $1.8 billion for that little fence in the Rio Grande Valley. And they said, no, we're going to focus on Obamacare and the tax cut. We'll do the border wall after the midterms, which they lost. And then they shrugged and said,
so,
oh,
Nick,
well.
But now be accurate with your audience. Why wasn't the border wall built? Was it for the same reason that it was completely paused after the 2020 midterms? In other words, you say Republicans, do you mean Democrats? And so they said the perfect is the enemy of the good, and they got done what they could get done at that time. It would be like people in the future saying, he didn't do anything about H-1B visa extensions. Well, sure, because he can't. It'll be blocked 100% by Democrats, maybe 10 to 15.
Is he excusing the establishment Republicans blocking Trump's the border wall in the first Trump administration right here? I feel like that's what Crowder's doing right now. Most of the taxes, state taxes, we need to increase production here. We have more oil than the Middle East. I know we do. We don't even get most of our oil from the Middle East.
15-20% Republicans, but he used the most potent tool at his disposal, right? So you put all this in the same bath.
What happened to all that Venezuela oil? What's up with that? We doing anything with that?
Like Republicans didn't. No, they weren't able to. And in many cases, they weren't able to, especially because you told people to sit out. When you look at what they've been able to do, I don't think these are minute differences. We've both agreed these are the most rightward shifts that we've seen in American policy in modern American history, which brings us back to the risk. I think we both agree, the risk of the left, right? You've not had any ill-conceived delusions that this is not a risky play. And I appreciate that you're straightforward about that, right? You're like, this is going to be great. You know it could backfire. So what are the concretes? It brings us back to that. I'm going to take this risk because I think that a 99% reduction in border crossings is significant, 87% H-1Bs. I think the Supreme Court cases are significant. I think, dozens, hundreds of feet of the wall being built is significant, whatever it is. I think it's significant, but I'm willing to take the risk. This plan will be effective because I need you to walk me through the end of the plan as opposed to hopefully these magic candidates will show up and then you're going to deal with the donor class again and the ground game again. What does it look like? Give me the plan.
Yeah. Well, once again, I'll just say first, and then I'll get just to respond to.
I think framing it with the magic candidates is a bit disingenuous from Crowder, but I understand why he's saying it. I guess, but not the best way to present it.
The preamble there, it's like
a bit dismissive.
I just grow tired of these games where it's like every cycle there's this excuse. It's like, well, we did this, we couldn't do that. It's politics, and this is a brief example I'll give. They allocated in the big, beautiful bill, what was it, $200 billion, $190 billion for DHS. Significant portion of that goes to ICE. And then they gave up on deportations in January because they said, well, this is not popular for the midterms. Then they launched the most unpopular war in modern history in Iran. It's like if you can eat a S-word sandwich, I don't know if you can swear on the show.
You can say whatever you want. Okay. It's Rebel, for God's sake. I mean, we're on YouTube.
Alex Jones, he's on radio, so, but,
that's foul language.
Yeah,
Check your methylene blue.
Yeah, turmeric.
Yeah.
They want us to eat a shit sandwich on Iran.
I take turmeric. I actually just started taking my vitamins again because I started feeling sick like the kids are. I'm like, it's because I haven't taken my vitamins in like a week. I went up to Kansas City and didn't bring all the vitamins with me.
But then on deportations, they go, oh, well, what about the midterms? So to me, these come across as like excuses. But I do want to get into what the plan is. You're right. It's hope. We're hoping for a space to be opened up for a candidate to go in, and there isn't anything specific. I have a candidate in mind, and there's a ground game being built and things like that. I can't share that information. There's maybe a couple candidates that I'm looking at. But again, you know how it goes. Unless somebody's ready to announce, you can't really say, oh, so-and-so is going to run for office. And then especially because it's me, I can't be the harbinger of whoever the candidate will be.
Well, why?
But, did he just say harbinger? He meant harbinger. It's not spelled harbinger, is it? If it's spelled that way, I can understand why he'd be a little bit confused. Nope, it's harbinger. Yeah, he said he just did like a Candace Owens. Weird, Fuentes. Get it right, son. Get it right.
Explore that though, because we both agree, two-party system, you need voting blocks. You need coalition. So if there are that many people out there who share your view, shouldn't be a problem for you to endorse anyone. As a matter of fact, that's a net positive. So give us the name.
I can't do that. Once again, it's not somebody that's announced they're running. It's not somebody that maybe even is in contention. But I mean, you know how this goes. When you have people that are running for president, they don't say they're not going to make an announcement until they're ready to make an announcement.
Well, sure, but usually these people who are developing Republican strategies aren't telling people to vote Democrat in a midterm, right? That's a long game, and you need that answer for people to take it on faith. Otherwise, it's just snake handling.
Well, I think that, once again, either way, you can take my word for it or not, but what isn't going to work is Vance and Rubio. Like, that's a 0-win proposition.
Like, I'm thinking about just getting on X and being like, hey, Nick, the fuck is a harbinger?
You can sit there and say, well, but that's better than a Democrat. At least that's concrete. I would say it's concrete that we're going to lose. It's concrete that if we get a continuation of this, we're going to get more of this, and this is not working. So rather than trying something that isn't working, I want to give a chance that something might work. And if people want to take a leap of faith, then I think that's where they need to go. But, the way it is right now.
Not working. I guess you would have to define working, right? So, again, this is, right, okay, first net negative migration country, right, for over 30 years.
I dispute that. I don't think that's true.
Okay. Go ahead, dispute it.
I think to say that it's net negative migration, you have to count self-deportations. I've seen a lot of different, and I think those are being overcounted because they took this number from the community survey from the census, which was taken last year, and there were 65,000 households polled, and they basically said, well, there was a lack of response from like non-residents, non-citizens of the United States, and then they use that to extrapolate, what was the number? 1.5 million people left the country. And then later, by the way, that data got corrected. It was in CIS, Confederation for Immigration, something or other, Center for Immigration Studies. They actually corrected the number with the new 2026 data and said, no, actually, we vastly overestimated how many illegals we thought left the country. So in other words, the government keeps track of how many people self-deport. That's not the number they're using. They're using this basically a guess based on a survey with a very small sample size to say, oh, well, we think all these people left, and that's just not reliable. So I don't, that's not a good number. I don't believe that.
Yeah, well, that's not the only number. And you would have a point if that was the only number that people were using. It's not. It is the number that the left wants people to use. And this is why I say I can, and I get it. You don't like this administration.
Nah, I don't know. It's necessarily that. It's a great freeze frame for Crowder. Crowder looks weird, and then Nick just looks like a little kid that's about to get his chicken nuggets. Sorry. Thank you so much for that $2 Rumble rant. Chair is bestest host. Thank you for that. That gets us to... That's $5 on the night. We're 45 away from Fancy Hat Goal. Heck yeah. Thank you for that support. All right. Appreciate that. Let's see. I got to find a sound for you. Getting us closer and closer to the hat goal. Enough of that. Gosh, that was loud. Sorry. And Slidey Pie coming in with a $1 Rumble rant. Turning the chat a lovely, lovely shade of blue. Guys, and if the chat goes blue, you know what we must do. We must play at least one of the blue sounds. Slidey Pie wants some silly dancing, and I will oblige. Get blue. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. Thank you for the support. I do appreciate you guys. We are glitchy tonight. My goodness. Yeah, it looks like it's getting kind of... Yep, it's glitching. I'll just go back to using the other one. That's okay. Don't forget to check out the dozerden.locals.com. You can join for $5 a month. Or you can get the year. If you pay for the first year, or the whole year, you get 2 months free. It's a good deal, guys. And you get all the benefits of a Rumble subscription. It's pretty cool. One of the most free speech live chats on the interweb over there on Locals. And I do usually keep a live chat up and ready to go. What's up, Hamburglar Helper? Good to see ya. Thanks for popping in. Guys, don't forget to hit that repost button. Reposting helps this channel grow. Commenting helps the streams do well as well. And liking, of course, helps a lot. So thank you guys for your support in whatever way you are able to support this channel. We're at $6 on the night, $44 away from Fancy Hat Goal. Let's get back to it. The funny freeze frame. See, Crowder's looking like he's going to try to go Super Saiyan, and Fuentes is excited about seeing someone go Super Saiyan.
Right, I understand that, so it makes sense that you would use the numbers of people who are sympathetic to attacking the administration. But we also have the CBP1 app. Okay, so am I. And let's assume that we both are. CBP1 app does have abilities to track. The Brookings Institute, by the way, left-leaning, has also estimated zero net negative migration. There are plenty of third-party analyses. It's not just one number. It's actually one that's not even being argued because the left is using it as an argument.
The self-deportations number is what specifically Fuentes hit on, though. So Crowder's being a little bit broad here, whereas Fuentes was being more specific. But she's freezy? Damn.
As part of their campaign that, hey, isn't this horrible for immigrants? But okay, let's dispute that one number and just let's even say that it's just one source. I would present and I'll make this stuff publicly available. I disagree with you. But then also looking at, for example, we talked about H-1Bs is a big deal. Looking at the border being closed 96 to 99%, depending if you also want to use border crossings, asylum claims, refugees. You look at spending cuts. I hear people say nothing. Well, no, it's hundreds of billions of dollars in Doge cuts. And if you want to use a left's point, say actually it's only a few $1 billion. It's not possible if you look at what's happened with NGOs. Medicaid alone, just requiring, I think we could agree on this.
We need to ban NGOs.
Young, able-bodied American males and females who are single with no kids, working or going to school 80 hours a month. SNAP, right? Just no Coca-Cola, no Fanta. You're looking at 900 billion plus another 100-something billion. These are not small things. Work requirements. You look at, I mean, obviously energy independence. I know we're going through the war right now, but if you actually look at what we're able to produce in comparison to the Green New Deal, in comparison to pausing leases.
Well, then let's keep some of that stuff we're producing here. How about that?
Is going to have a serious.
Let's do like UAE. Let's hop out of OPEC.
Serious effect for Americans. H1Bs.
With their oil production, right? One would have thought they would have flooded the market just a little bit.
87% reduction in new ones, DEI in the federal government. You know, if Democrats get the risk too, we won't be able to have this conversation. We both have to agree on that. If the Democrats seize power, first off, they're going to pack the courts. This is the plan. People need to know it. They will pack the courts. They want to go to 13. They want to make Puerto Rico a state. They want to grant all illegal aliens and any temporary citizens the right to vote and undo everything, right? And that would include deplatforming. That's the risk. That's the plan. So we can't just, and I'm not saying you're lying, but we can't just take your word for it to take that risk. You can understand that.
Well, here's what I would say to that. I think that every election, the Republican side basically overstates what the Republicans are doing for us. And then I think they exacerbate or overstate the risk of Democrats. This whole, like, they're going to pack the courts and make Puerto Rico a state. It's like, well, they didn't do that under Biden. I don't think they're going to do that this time. And if you believe that they did, why aren't we using the nuclear option? If you really thought Democrats were going to break precedent, pack the courts, make Puerto Rico...
So, okay, let me rephrase. We're not in OPEC. Thought we were. Guess we're not. We're one of the petroleum exporting countries, but we're not in the OPEC. We're still at the whim of OPEC. So we need to find a way to not be subject to that. Maybe that means pressuring some of our allies or some of the ones we do trade with not to be in OPEC. Thanks for saying that, though, Sanglant. I appreciate you. Because I was under the impression we were. 1,000 NGOs. Yeah, I saw that too. 1,000 NGOs in the Middle East. I forgot where I saw that, but we were probably watching the same thing, S. Henson. Bingo. And Bingo, what's his name? Oh. 12 nations, Middle East, Africa, South America, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Venezuela. We don't qualify for membership, which is restricted to countries that are substantial net exporters of oil. Okay, so while not a member of the core OPEC group, U.S. sometimes interacts with the broader OPEC alliance, which includes Russia, on voluntary production adjustments, though it remains independent of their official policies. So we're working with them, rubbing elbows, but not actually officially part of it. So, Leaflet calls them Quangos, quasi-autonomous, non-governmental organizations. Interesting.
Rico estate, do this and that. Okay, then it's life or death. We have to do everything possible. Then use the nuclear option, okay, and pass the SAVE Act so that, you know, we could get all these Democrats off the voter rolls and so that we could break the logjam on DHS and get them their money and do the deportations. But it's like, you know, Republicans will act like it's life or death, most important election. But then when it comes to nuclear option, they go, oh, we can't do that. Oh, well, we can't do the deportation. Oh, well, you know, this is the best we could do. And it's like, okay, so somebody's not telling the truth here. And I don't think it's you, but I think it's
I agree with you. There are Republicans who aren't telling the truth. I agree with you. And by the way, they need to be, like, for example, Thune, Cornyn, I mean, screw that guy with a wire brush, right? People like that. Yeah. But we know them by name. To throw them all into the same basket and just, it's a constant dismissal. Like, I don't really think that their deportations are enough. I don't really think we're a net negative migration country. I don't really think that 87% H-1Bs. I don't really think, just executive order 2 genders. I don't really care downsizing the federal government. I don't really care that housing prices and rent prices are at multi-year lows. Those things don't matter because it's not enough when we know that the Democrats will obviously, and this is their plan. They didn't say they were going to make Puerto Rico a state and pack the court to 13 last time. They're saying that now. What they did say is that they were going to go a different direction on immigration, and we got, by our agreement, 10 to 20 million in 3.5 years. That is unsurvivable, and you're recommending that people take that risk based on then what else? Where do we go? So we vote Democrat, we take the risk, but we cut it off at the pass.
Yep.
And
but again, it's like, you know, you can say, well, that's not survivable. What we got 10 to 20 million illegals. Why?
Pepsi Zero. That's the answer.
Because Republicans didn't build a wall, and now they're not going out because Republicans won't deport them. So it's like, if Democrats get in, they're going to end the world. That's why we need Republicans to like not do anything.
No, you're taking what Democrats did and blaming all Republicans. Most Republicans wanted the wall. We voted. Well, we can't because you also have something known as gridlock. And then you're saying vote for the Democrats who blocked the wall and open the border.
But in 17, we had the House, the Senate, the White House, the Supreme Court. Yep. Why didn't they use the nuclear option to just build the wall? It's because the Republicans don't really want to build a wall. They want the illegals to come here.
The struggle persists. They want the struggle to continue. I do agree with him on this. Yeah. Yeah. It may not even necessarily be that they want the illegals here. They want the boogeyman. They want the fight to continue, because if they've actually fixed the issue, well, then there's nothing left to fight against, is there?
And then when the Democrats get in, they can say, oh, shucks, the Democrats brought in all these illegals, and so we're going to deport them. Get us elected. Never mind. We only want to deport the violent criminals. Net negative migration is good enough. And it's like, that's the risk. The risk is that we play this game forever. I want to step outside of it, break the matrix. We got to run the Trump playbook from 16, get somebody fresh in. To me, that's the risk.
I don't have a problem with getting someone fresh in. I don't have a problem with getting someone fresh in. As a matter of fact, here's the problem. I actually agree with you in principle on the premise of wanting to get someone fresh in. I don't probably have the disdain for Rubio and Vance. Between the two, I probably would choose Rubio because of
really.
Well, just because I agree with you that the threat of big tech and AI, and I think that's a very uncozy relationship that worries me. But I don't know. I'm not. They're not ideal. But I still would pick them over Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom. I don't think Gavin Newsom is a Chad. I think Gavin Newsom would be a disaster. I think Gretchen Whitmer would be the worst. But I think they've learned their lesson. They're not going to run abroad. Hopefully, she would be the worst thing that could happen to this country, Gretchen Whitmer. But I would like someone else. The problem is your plan guarantees the opposite, historically, without exception. I'm sure you're aware of this. In other words, you're asking people to take a risk. Well, you're aware of the moderate Republican paradox. This goes all the way back to Goldwater.
Which is?
So it's any time Republicans lose big, right? Democrats achieve power, especially when Republicans go further right and they lose big, Democrats attain power. The donor class, who you need to reckon with the donor class, right, as part of your prescription, they immediately go to the most moderate candidate who they think is winnable. So, for example, just using some, like after Goldwater, they decided to go with a more moderate Nixon. What happened with Ford over Reagan? If you look at what happened after George Bush, McCain, and then you even look at examples like the Tea Party swinging further right, and then I'm going, oh my gosh, you know what? We need someone moderate to win the general, Mitt Romney. So what you're doing historically, with pretty much no exception, is guaranteeing the next John McCain or Mitt Romney.
I think you're missing one. I think you're missing a notable exception to that. Yeah.
But Donald Trump was an outsider with a Democrat his whole life, right? We have to agree it's an outlier. You're talking about operating within the binary. When Republicans lose big, Democrats are so bad, they go, okay, we can't live under this rule. Historically, they go, let's pick the most winnable candidate. So you're going to deal with those donors, hundreds of billions, potentially trillions of dollars, in 2028 with who, with what kind of funding, and what kind of ground game? Because I also don't want Mitt Romney. For crying out loud, Mitt Romney.
Rubio. Rube, what's the, here's the thing is like, if you're saying you're going for Rubio.
I didn't say I'm going for Rubio. I said if I had to pick between the two, because I really don't like the Palantir connection. I agree with you, is what I was saying.
But, okay, and fair enough. I don't want to mischaracterize your position. However, you must acknowledge the way it's looking, they're going to consolidate behind one or the other. And right now, it looks like Rubio is the donor choice. The Wall Street donors, the pro-Israel donors, they're taking informal survey. They want Rubio.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, okay, 10 years after Trump defeated Rubio, New American Century, Miriam Adelson's puppet, I think Trump literally said at AIPAC, or the Republican Jewish Coalition, he said, you want Rubio because he's your puppet and he'll do whatever you want because he takes your money. He's a Florida creature.
He also said Ted Cruz's dad killed JFK. Come on, we know what goes on with primaries with Trump. And one thing I do have to address, he's not an outlier. Republicans won in 2014 before Trump paved the way for him. That's what I'm saying. If they win, you can veer them further right. They also won in 2022. If they win, you can veer them right. That's what paved the way for Trump. So it actually proves a point. If Republicans lose, you guaranteed historically paved the way for a moderate Republican. It doesn't go the other way. So I'm asking you, and that's what I don't want. That's a big fear of mine, by the way. I don't like, I'm not all in on Rubio or Vance, but I would like to not see someone worse, to not see someone more moderate, to not see a Romney or McCain. That's what we'd be looking at if there's a big Democrat win. You just made my point with Trump, right? He was able to because of 2014 Republican. He probably wouldn't have been able to if you were looking at a Republican loss. It would have been like Goldwater. It would have been like McCain.
But you had a Democrat incumbent or a Democrat leaving office, which was Obama. Here's the dynamic, the way that I see it, is that Democrats win in 2026, and they're going to sabotage this administration because they're going to impeach Trump. They're going to investigate everybody, and they're going to find embezzlement, corruption. Like there's some problems in this administration, or at least there's a lot of smoke, let's say, around Howard Lutnick and some of the crypto stuff. And there's a lot that I would even like to see investigated. And so everybody in the
And if we're being intellectually consistent, it needs to be investigated. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But it does look like there might be some shenanigans afoot, especially with some of the manipulative tactics we've seen with the stock market, with some of these announcements about Iran. That's a bit sketch. I don't know for sure, but it seems a bit sketchy. And it might be legal, but is it ethical? It's politics, I suppose.
Administration is going to be hurt by this, Rubio and Vance included. That weakens them ahead of the primary. If they are toxically associated to the administration, which is failing more under Democrats, then to me, that provides an opening for somebody fresh from the outside that says, I'm sort of repudiating Trump's legacy, or maybe even I have some allegiance to Trump's original message in 2016. You know, maybe I'm going to save Trumpism from itself or where it went astray. That's kind of, I don't think we need to get into like Barry Goldwater. That's how I see it. If Trump is strong going into 28, then his people are strong. They have a better chance of winning the primary, and there's big consolidation. If they're weak, then people are going, oh.
And here's the thing about the midterms. I think there might be a play. There might be a play to let things get really, really unbearable for a little bit, and then like a month or so, maybe two before the midterms, ease up things, make it to where things are good for a few months. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you, Entropy Nomad, for that $1 Rumble rant. Pepsi, how dare you? It's Coke or nothing. This is America. I want my money back. Turning the chat a lovely, lovely shade of blue. And if the chat doth go blue, you know what we must do. We must play one of the blue sounds. We'll do Pipe Rally one more time. I think I timed that right, because Rumble is struggling. I'm going to do a refresh real quick. Oh, wait, let me see. You don't want to miss your chat here. Both these guys say some real things, but I just don't listen. I don't know, man. It takes too long to filter the bullshit. I think there's... Yeah, I feel you on that. I do. She's Pepsi for sure. She is. Damn right. The Piper is pretty great. I'm going to do a refresh really quick. Maybe that'll make this soundboard a little bit more responsive so I don't have to guess. Just a sec. And I'm back. Let me try one really quick here just to see if that fixed it. About a 5-second delay, I think. I think it's about a 5-second delay. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Let's see. You can't just keep showing her and all that. There you go, Sam Diddy. I don't blame you on that. She does make the people happy. Piper Alley. She's great. She does a lot of covers with the pipes.
Well, I don't know. Rubio and Vance are toxic. They're tied to Trump. They're unpopular. Maybe we need something else. So I think that's the dynamic. I mean, do you disagree, and why?
Well, if he's strong, wouldn't that suggest that the country's in a good place?
Yeah, I do. In a better place, certainly.
In a better place with Democrats.
Crowder missed his point.
Right. No. If Trump is strong...
We're saying if strong, going to 28 after people vote Democrat.
No. If Trump is strong, if Democrats don't win big and they're not able to sabotage him,
okay,
he'll be stronger than he would have been otherwise. So
wait, are you saying he would be strong because people vote Democrat?
No, I'm saying he's stronger if Democrats don't win.
Right, the midterms.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So how does that play into your plan? And forgive me, it could have been a timeline there where I was confused. I was assuming that we were going along with your plan and Democrats get voted in 2026.
Yeah, Democrats get voted in.
Pretty much he just said he didn't listen to a damn thing that Fuentes just said right there, and I already assumed that you were going with this, and this is what I've practiced to go against. I'm going to assume that's the point that you're making because that's what I practiced to go against.
26, and they weaken Trump. Trump is weaker, and by association, everybody else is weaker. Rubio, Vance, because again, they're going to dredge up all this stuff, and you're not going to be able to run from that because they're going to haul people before the House. They're going to impeach people. It's going to get ugly, and I want them to bring, because this administration's a failure. It's an utter betrayal. And I don't think
I think that's a bit simplistic. Involvement in the Middle East, and we gotta actually deport a large number of people, and that's. I like that Tom Homan's in charge again. That's good, but man, oh man.
I don't want to say you won't acknowledge. I think you disagree, but they promised mass deportations, and that's not happening. They promised no new wars, and we got a war with Iran. They stabbed us in the back.
So a couple of things there, and I think this is important. We did get it. And if you want to predicate it on Democrat numbers that we don't have deportations or enough, but at least we have some versus mass importations. And I certainly would say if you look at the matter of record that even from left-leaning think tanks, institutes, that we are seeing record deportations. We have a net negative migration country. I never thought would happen in our lifetime. Nobody actually disputes that except for you. Okay, I don't think that's a betrayal.
That's not nobody.
I do think a betrayal is saying that you don't care about immigration, which you said. And that's where I need to know, do these things matter? Do these things matter to you? Does immigration matter? Yeah, does immigration actually matter? Because people who care about immigration certainly see this administration.
Well, his last name is Fuentes, Crowder. Come on now. Nick's never going to get everything he wants. No one will. That's the thing. You're not going to get everything you want. You're going to get the best possible, the idea is you're going to get at least, hopefully, 60 to 70% at best. Never going to be 100. But man, these big donors coming in and just, yeah. Some of them are very interesting. Guys, don't forget to hit that repost button. Comment in the comment section. Like the stream. And tell all your friends.
As the biggest wins of our lifetime ever, in contrast to Biden.
You're wrong about that. You're wrong about that, and I'll tell you why. Because there are people in DHS. People in DHS, I talk to people in the administration. I'm sure you do as well. The morale is low.
I actually really don't. You're probably more welcome than I am. Really? Surprising as it is. You're more congenial.
I'm a pretty congenial guy.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm more of a
Thanks for the repost to Craig Allen.
OG. We get along, but in DHS, the morale is super low.
And really quick, thank you to Cindy K for following the channel, The Dozer Den. Thanks for the repost, Cindy K as well, and S. Henson. And then we talked about Salty. I think we already shouted out Salty Zipper Tits and Neuro and Silva and myself. Yes, I reposted my own stream and I liked it. Why not? Why not, guys? You gotta like your own stuff, right? We're at 24 likes, including myself. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, they're literally going and telling people
it's low because of sanctuary cities and people fucking kicking out their taillights and them being hamstrung. You're sidestepping people creating sanctuary.
I actually agree with Fuentes on this. Crowder is absolutely giving excuses to this administration. Here's the thing. If you have a freaking state that decides that they need to hamstring the ICE operations if you have anarcho tyranny being allowed, if you have a bunch of Marxist revolutionaries in the street being allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do, then that's a problem. That's a problem that this administration should have actually handled. This administration didn't handle it right. They handled it poorly. If they would have gone in, and honestly, yes, the Insurrection Act should have been fucking used, Trump. You fucked it. You missed your chance. You missed your chance again. You should have done it with the BLM fuckers and the Antifa twat waffles. You should have done it then, but you didn't. You should have probably gone ahead and done it this time with immigration. You cannot have... now, did they go in a little bit too heavy-handed at first, at least with the optics? Yeah, their tactics weren't the best at first. That's why I like Tom Homan being in there. But when you have federal officials coming in and doing legal things to enforce the law, and you have literal government involvement. You had state reps involved in organizing these chats to track ICE agents and dox them and go after them. If you can't actually come in and go ahead and do something about it, Trump, then you're fucking feckless. Honestly, you had to do something and you guys blinked. Yeah, I actually agree with Fuentes on that one. They blinked fucking hard. You can't have that continue. The Insurrection Act should have been used. And I know it would have looked bad for him. Guess what? Looked worse for the base, in my opinion.
Cities, the left will not deport violent felons in our prison system, Nick, and you're telling people to vote for them. They
This is
can't
what I'm
just
saying.
sidestep
It's
it.
like, it's always these excuses like Republicans are going to give us deportations. Well, no, we can't because sanctuary cities and
I didn't
Congress
say that.
and-
They still are in spite of it. Donald Trump gave us an
They're not.
87% reduction, which you haven't. You ran billboards. Give me this.
Are we talking about H-1Bs or illegals right now?
Both. Because you said
we
last
gotta
time you were on the
focus
show,
on illegals.
well, because last time on the show you said, well, who cares about illegal immigration? You accepted the premise because if they're replacing you legally, and you run billboards on that, and it's the single biggest strides that have ever been made in our lifetime. And you're like, I don't know. That sounds to me like an excuse, Nick.
They said mass deportations, not net negative migration. They said mass deportations, largest deportation in history. And by the way, there's people in DHS, they're reaching out to this mass deportations project, this mass deportation coalition, because Trump is holding it back. Trump has been convinced by Brooke Rollins that we can't deport people from farms. And he's being convinced by Wall Street that we can't deport a lot of people in general from the labor force because it's going to put upward pressure on prices. It's going to hurt the economy. So
Trump has literally made statements that are saying what Nick is saying. So Nick is right.
it's like, well, let's be honest, Trump is the problem. Trump is slowing down deportations. He doesn't want them. Like, they're betraying us. They could do more. They're choosing not to. They walked it back like 100 times in the past few months. They went to the Trump Doral for their congressional retreat, and the deputy chief of staff said, don't say mass deportations, that's done. Susie Wiles and the rest of them said it's a course correction. We're shifting gears. We're changing the strategy. We're focusing on violent offenders, violent criminals. There's all this consternation in the White House saying, oh, Trump is being convinced to approve all these seasonal farm workers. He's being convinced not to do the deportations, only focus on criminals, which, by the way, that's kind of like what Biden was doing, picking people up at prisons that murdered people. That's been going on. That's an Obama policy, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Because we both, by the way, have a tendency to kind of, I think your brain works the same way I do. We're like, and this bullshit, and this
We're
bullshit.
ranting, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but it's in my personal life too. I'll come home to my lady. I'm like, this bullshit. She'll be like, okay. It's kind of like the old man. Put him down, like, go grab a drink and calm down and play some games. So I wanted to deal with those kind of separately. I understand what you're saying, but you are making the same mistake that the left makes quite often. And what I mean by that is pointing to rhetoric as opposed to policy. So you say, okay, let's assume, although
No, that was saying they were saying that was going to be policy.
I just don't agree. There are no
unless he's saying that they during the campaign were doing a big ask. Unless that could be what Crowder's saying there. They were doing a big ask with mass deportations and building a whole wall, when in reality they were just like, we'll do a little here and a little there, which I guess
deportation. There are, in comparison to Obama, to Clinton, certainly to Biden, we certainly would have to agree on that because they counted border turnaways. But net negative migration, okay, that doesn't matter. You're pointing to the rhetoric. Okay, H-1Bs, that doesn't matter because you're pointing to the rhetoric. You also have to look at other numbers, like, for example, the job growth under Biden entirely.
I think Stephen's being a little bit off here in just saying that it was just rhetoric. There were absolute policy proposals that are what Nick said that are not being adhered to.
To foreign...
It's not just talk. It's not just rhetoric. They were actually policy proposals.
Born workers. These numbers also don't lie. Net negative for native-born Americans, and it has flipped precisely under Donald Trump. That is important for particularly young Americans, who you have as an audience, right? We have a youth unemployment that I think we would both agree is directly affected by H-1Bs, cheap labor, illegal immigration. It's bad here. It's worse anywhere the left has power. You're talking about 20% across Europe. You're talking about 15% in Canada. Those numbers also don't lie. Okay, Joe Biden. Americans. That in combination does become undeniable in saying these aren't mild differences. This is a major difference. And rhetoric, you know, in having to deal with the media. Well, we're going after violent criminals first. Tom Homan was on the show. I guess that would be one of the administration. He's someone we've had in the show a couple of times. He said, well, of course, we're going after violent criminals, but what we're going to do if we're going after someone who's not violent? We're going to deport them. They can't be here. That's our job. We're going to deport them too. In other words, it gives them some leeway, and the numbers bear that out. It's not even close, Nick.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, you can say it's better than Obama, but have we been fighting for 10 years for all of this? For like, well, we're deporting more people than Obama after they let in 20 million people. No, we voted for mass deportations. We're not even getting 1 million a year. ICE won't release the numbers because they're embarrassingly low. That's why we have to rely on like census data to extrapolate it and get, well, this 1 million people self-deported. You know, that's what they promised. And by the way, you're saying it's all rhetoric. Let's look at the policy. After they withdrew from Minneapolis, they said, we're done doing raids. They were doing these big operations in Chicago, New York, Minneapolis, where they surged thousands of CBP and ICE into the city. And what they would do is patrols. They would have ICE out on the street, basically looking for illegals, going door to door. What they've done since then is they put body cams on them. They stopped doing these big surges. They stopped doing the patrols and the big raids. And what they've effectively shifted over to...
I'm okay with the body cams. I don't know why he has a problem with the body cams.
Like in New York, for example, is they're only going to go to the prisons. If someone gets arrested for murder, they go to prison, they're not legal, then ICE picks them up. And that's really all that is happening right now. If you wanted mass deportations, what would that look like? Home Depots, farms, meat processing plants, the Hyundai facilities. But what happens when those places get raided? Trump gets a call. He gets a call from Wall Street. He gets a call from Hyundai. He gets a call from Brooke Rollins. And they say, stop deporting our farmers.
Yep.
Or stop deporting our Hyundai employees, stop deporting. And so Trump is effectively protecting our illegal immigrant workforce. They could deport them. They're choosing not to. The numbers could be higher. They could be doing raids. They stopped doing.
Good to see you, Crystal DC. Thanks for popping into the chat. Don't know if I've seen you in the chat before. Thanks for watching.
Doing them. And they stopped doing them. They said because of politics, we'll lose the midterms, you know, all this stuff. And I'm just saying, you know, it could be better. It really could be. They're choosing not to.
It could be better. Of course, it could always be better.
No, it could be much better.
Okay, let's say it could be much better. It's funny they use a meat processing plant because we saw that exact example in I believe it was Omaha, Nebraska, where then there were Americans lined up when a bunch of people had been raided and people.
And then they shut it down. And
this happens across.
Too.
So are you saying that there's an equivalency? In other words, it's not that big of a difference as far as immigration?
Yeah, I think it's not meaningful at all. No, that's getting back to.
And what about let's go through. What about H-1Bs? 87%. It's not 100. 87% in new ones. Where place is that significant?
No, I don't think so. It needs to go entirely. There needs to be no H-1Bs.
Okay, so 87% reduction is nothing, so we'll go with the party that increases them by 200%.
They hit the cap. They hit the cap every year. And by the way, we're going to get more. I mean, Elon Musk and Little Tech are lobbying this administration. So
87%. 99% border crossing reduction, not significant?
No, there's no wall. We did that in 2020, and then we got 10 million illegals.
We're building the wall now. Well, the wall was stopped again after the midterms that you encouraged people to sit out, and the Senate flipped.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet
about
that the wall
50?
will be
Is it like over 50 miles? Is that what the wall's over 50 miles, and there's another 17 miles of secondary wall? This is just
the
in the very
border's
first
2,000 miles.
But yeah, we built how many hundreds of miles in the first term, and how many times?
I will say, not all of the border is going to need a wall because of mountain ranges. So there is some of this that's not going to be needed, like coverage wise. But there does need to be more. I agree.
Was it being gridlocked by the Democrats who you say people should vote for?
60 miles of new wall. There's 400 miles of replacement, 50, 60 miles of new wall out of 2,000.
How many was in the first term is what we're talking, right? Then now we have another 50 plus, is it called 75?
The first term was 60 new, and this second term, I'll take your word for it. I haven't looked at it, but if it's 70, I mean, then you got a grand total of 130 miles of new wall.
Okay.
It's 5%.
And how many were built under Democrats? And how much of that was done when we had control versus Democrats?
That's crazy.
We need more. We need more. But the point is there will be no wall. Wait, we know this.
But there isn't a wall.
So let's vote for the party. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry,
It's like, I get what Crowder's saying, but we have to stop accepting bullshit because it's something is better than nothing. Yes, but we've got to demand. We got to have higher expectations of our side. We've got to. The wall needs to be in the mind. Open your mind.
Oh, you go ahead.
No. And I understand this, right? I guess we're dealing with it's very clear to me. that none of these are significant to you, right? Immigration, because most people,
It is.
most people,
It is.
if you could, hold on a second, most people, if you could tell them, look, this is what's going to happen, okay? You're not going to get everything that you want, but you're going to get $1.3 trillion in cuts and proposed cuts. And you're going to have these for the first time entitlement reform. You're going to have a net negative migration country for the first time since the 1970s. And you're going to have DEI out. You're actually going to have Supreme Court cases where affirmative action, you can't admit people in college based on race anymore. And by the way, Medicaid's not going to be paying to trans kids because we're going to have that Chevron case overturned. Okay, if you said, but if you just told people net negative migration before the election, people would have taken that deal. And instead, you're saying hand it over to the people who opened it up. So let's go back to that. I'm fine with it, with that risk. In other words, if you're telling me we can get much better. So the Nick Fuentes plan is we can get 100% deportations, right? Not 87% H-1Bs. We can get 100% H-1 done completely. Guarantee it. We can get Medicaid, not just a $900 billion. All of this, you can get it done because you're going to vote Democrat in 2026. And then I still need concrete.
Well, let's just reframe the deal a little bit, okay? Because here's a real deal is Republicans say we're going to build a wall, and a wall, Trump said 30-foot concrete structure, 2,000 miles of wall. That was the proposal in January 2018. That's what we had in mind.
Sure.
Well, what you're really going to...
It does sound like such a nice wall.
...get is 130 miles of 18-foot steel bollard fencing with a 5-foot climbing plate after 10 years. Then they say mass deportations. We're going to deport 1 million people per year. They don't even release the numbers. According to the New York Times, they deported 230,000. Us $50, maybe $100 billion when all is said and done, not to mention the gas prices. So it's like, we're promised all these things. We never get them. And so you're right. It's a huge risk. But I'm saying I'm not going Democrat. I'm not going center right. I'm voting no on both of those. And yeah, I'm hoping that we can open up a space where someone far right can fill it. And you're right. It's a huge risk. You're right. It's totally uncertain.
Well, he just said he's not voting. What?
Risk. But I'm saying I'm not going Democrat. I'm not going center right. I'm voting no on both of those. And yeah, I'm hoping that we can open up a space where someone...
So is he just going to write somebody in if somebody's not on the ticket? Is he going to write somebody in who's just his ideal, maybe?
Far right can fill it. And you're right. It's a huge risk. You're right. It's totally uncertain. But I think the real risk, again, is these half measures. I think unless we have radical reform, it's either we're getting our head cut off or we're getting cut in half. I'm voting for maybe there'll be some option where we don't get totally destroyed. And that's all I'm interested in. That's all I care about. You want to cut around the edges on immigration. Like, it's not going to meaningfully change the demographics of the country. How many illegals are here? 40, 50 million? You want to say, well, we deported 1 million. It's like, okay, cool. Like, we're still in this immigrant nation. So.
Yeah. No, well, first off, I'm familiar with that New York Times article. They cited 500,000, and that's not including self-deportations, which is the vast majority of them. I get that you say, I don't count it. I don't count self-deportations. I don't believe in
arrests and removals. So 500,000 is arrests and removals.
I don't believe in self-deportations. Okay. That's still very different from 10 to 20.
The self-deportations number is a little bit wishy-washy. I mean, I hope it's right. But it is, I don't know.
Million in the span of 3 years, which you guaranteed will get. Let's assume you don't believe the Democrats clearly.
I know of one person who's self-deported. I do know of one.
Laid out plan of packing the courts, of undoing all the decisions, of making Puerto Rico a state, of redistricting. Let's assume you don't believe any of that. Will we both agree, for sure, if Democrats attain power, another 10 to 20 million illegals in that term?
I'm not sure. I really have no idea. I think
if you're a betting man, Nick.
Honestly, no, because you know what?
So they did it.
I think my first time I heard this, because I worked at the point that I've heard. First time I heard this, I was like, "What, Nick? Come on now! Like, just let him cook for a second."
Under Biden, but learn their lesson.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If you look at Davos this year, there was agreement. Actually, I think Clinton said this in an interview sometime after this. I believe Hillary Clinton, that is. I believe Bill Gates said something to this effect. They said because of AI, we don't actually want the irregular migration anymore. Like, why did they need the illegal immigration in 21, 22, 23? Because there was a labor shortage after the pandemic ended. And so, yeah, I do think actually the tides have shifted.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, I mean, that's what they say.
Here's the thing. I think, no, I understand. I don't agree with their framing.
Oh, okay.
Meaning there wasn't a labor shortage. And that's what's so distressing about the left. And this is why I can't vote for them. This is how sinister they are. They specifically hired and replaced, and you've talked about this, replaced Americans with third world labor. Native-born American jobs went down after the pandemic. Foreign-born jobs went up. It's directly flipped under Trump. So there wasn't a labor shortage. We would both have to agree the Democrats lied. They wanted cheap labor because ultimately they wanted votes. That's my only disagreement. I think they're just that sinister and the numbers bear it out. But please continue.
Well, I mean, strictly speaking, there was. It's just that there would be two ways to remedy that. I mean, if you had a real labor shortage, what was happening is that all these companies were just increasing their wages. And I remember you drive down the street and you'd see a window in McDonald's and it would say $25 an hour, stipend for tuition, blah, blah, because they wanted to incentivize Americans to return to the labor force. And so, how do you remedy the shortage? You could raise the wages or you could open up the borders. So So in a sense, I suppose we agree. Maybe it's just the semantics about what constitutes a shortage. But I would say that
no, I don't think it's semantics. I think it's don't subsidize Americans and let wages go up as a product of the free. It's not complicated. It's a problem that they created on purpose so they could solve by replacing Americans with third world labor. I don't think it's an accident. You think it's an accident?
No, not that it's an accident. I just think it's just about how you approach the problem. They could have raised wages.
Do you believe that Democrats had a proactive approach to replacing Americans with third worlders in order to change the demographics and gain votes? Because I do.
I think yes, but, and this is what I think maybe you might miss as more loyal to the Republicans, is that the business interests which are Republican, play a profound role in opening up the borders. I mean, it's the 1990 Immigration Act, actually, which is what created all these programs, increased the amount of immigrants coming in, and that was lobbied for by the Chamber of Commerce under George Bush because the business interests wanted the labor. So I think there's a two-part thing where Democrats, you're right, they want the demographic change, that refugees welcome, blah, blah, blah. But it's the Republicans in agriculture and hospitality on Wall Street. They want the cheap labor too, for economic reasons. So, you can't say it's all Democrats and not Republicans.
Well, no, what I would say is I wouldn't say that. And I think we agree. Okay. It's all Democrats. I do believe that Democrats in a perfect world would replace you. I think that's why you're America First, right? They want to replace white, Christian, Anglo-Saxon Americans with anyone whose vote is easier to buy. Would we agree with that fundamental premise?
Totally.
Okay. Yeah. And then I think some Republicans, people like Bush included, by the way, Reagan really screwed up when you're talking about immigration, as far as business interests, or this idea that, it'll sort itself out through the free market. The problem is there was so much interference that we now see there are corporate interests that superseded it. We see a very stark contrast between those Republicans and this Trump administration. For the first time, there's been a stark contrast. But I do think the primary problem is exactly what you've said in the past. The left absolutely wants to replace you with a demographic that is easier to manipulate, put on the public dole, grant citizenship, and gain votes. And they did it to the tune of 10 to 20 million. They did not fix the labor shortage. What happened is they created a labor shortage, whether it's rent forgiveness, student loan forgiveness, the subsidies, the COVID relief that was going out, knowing that Americans would go back into the workforce more slowly. Wages were going up, and instead they brought in massive, not only illegal immigrants, but the same reason you ran billboards, H-1Bs, that for certainly their tenure, and would be forever if not reversed, suppress American wages. Those are issues for me. I know you said that immigration doesn't matter to you anymore, and I think you're being hyperbolic, but that is, to me, enough of a contrast when I understand the replacement of Americans because we won't have an America anymore.
Well, to address that comment, I said that in the context of, I think that immigration is one of these issues that is always dangled in front of us out of reach. And Republicans have been playing this game for 40 years. And it's like you pointed out, even Reagan, we're going to give 3 million amnesty and then we're going to close the border. Doesn't happen. Same thing even with Trump. Trump said we're going to build the border wall. We're going to slow it down. And let's be honest, immigration got really bad in Trump's first term, right up through May, June 2019 until they implemented Remain in Mexico. And then in 2020, they shut it down because of the pandemic. But it's like, it was even bad under Trump, one. And then, for example, the pandemic-induced labor shortage. Who shut down the economy? Trump.
Thanks for the repost, Sam Duty.
Trump. Who let BLM wreck the cities? Trump. Who gave them
Now, this is what you're doing. I know, look, because you're very smart. This is clever, but it's just not accurate. And I would say it's disingenuous to say, Trump, because BLM started before Donald Trump. We both know that. And we also know that domestically, hold on a second, the president doesn't have the same broad authority. And I know you've talked about this. So, for example, whether you agree or disagree with the war in Iran, people saying it's a war crime for any president to carry out a military action. No, we both know that the president has much broader powers as it relates to issues of national security. That's also why he has much broader powers in dealing with H-1Bs coming in, or specifically policy as it relates to people entering the country. The president doesn't have these broad powers to guarantee funding for a wall, right? We know that. But the president does have, the broad powers when you say Remain in Mexico. When was that reversed and who reversed it? Wherever he can. Exactly. Whenever he can, like you said. Wherever he can through executive order or presidential powers, he's used his most potent tools, and he's been gridlocked by the party you tell people to vote for. And some, not all, but too many Republicans. So my approach is back to Steel Manning. Yeah, I think you're better off, and historically it's irrefutable, you're better off working within the party that has a voting base that wants something done with immigration to hold them accountable, the primary process. We've actually affected that directly here. Brennan Herrera is going to win. That's just one example. Ken Paxton is. That's one example. Handing it over to Democrats historically guarantees a moderate Republican if you manage to come back from it. So I think we've already gone, you don't have the concretes. You're saying you vote Democrat, so the destruction is concrete, right? The losses are real. They will take place. The wins are hopeful and imaginary. That's my problem.
No, I see, when you say destruction and all this, let's be very clear. In 2026, if Democrats win, you're going to have a divided government. So I think actually the damage is going to be mitigated in the sense that you'll have a Republican Senate, most likely. You'll have Trump in the White House. The Democrats will have the House. and they'll just exercise their oversight power. So as far as destruction is concerned, I think it's relatively contained. And maybe this is like a good clarifier, if it was 2028, and it's going to be, I don't want Democrats to run the table. I don't want a Democrat to be the president at all. I don't want Democrats to control Congress. I think that this is the punch in the face that Republicans need so that in 28 we can be more competitive. That's how I'm looking, because the damage, let's be honest, is contained.
I get that. The damage isn't fully contained. There's a lot of damage that they can do. We can go through that. It's not fully contained. I think you're understating the risk, but it still does come to the unavoidable fact, if we just believe this logistically, right? And of course, I'm not going to vote Democrat. I think you also agree you're going to have a hurdle for a lot of people to vote against their conscience and vote Democrat, right? You know that's going to take a lot of convincing on your part. You still run into the brick wall that if that happens, you're going to get a moderate candidate historically. You're not going to get someone more right-wing, it's called the Republican moderate paradox, and it's almost as inescapable as gravity. Now, if you had a plan like, but we're going to punch those donors in the face and have a ground game, awesome. I'm all ears. Please let me know. And let me know how you get this guy or gal, I'm assuming it's not a gal, please tell me it's not a gal, elected in 2028. How do you get, let's go to that. Let's really distill it. Let's assume there's no difference between Republicans and Democrats, and they're so bad that it's exactly the same. You couldn't put any daylight between Biden and Donald Trump. Let's assume that I agree with all that. I don't, but for the sake of argument, how do you get this guy, please not gal, elected in 2028?
Well, like I said, I don't believe in this moderate Republican paradox that you're talking about. I think if Republicans lose the midterms, they're going to be weakened. Like, you can't argue that they're going to be stronger having lost the midterms than weaker. Vance and Rubio will be weaker after the fact.
I'm not arguing that. And weaker Republicans look for a winnable candidate who they view as moderate. The donor class will do that, guaranteed. They will. The donor class.
Okay, but the donor class is lining up behind Vance and Rubio.
Okay, so they still will. How do you deal with that? How do you get your guy elected?
And they will be weaker. I think we need a grassroots campaign in those early primary states in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. And let's also just talk about the architecture of the race. It's going to start relatively early. We need somebody to announce, get up to that 1%, 2%, 3% threshold to get on the debate stage. And then we're going to need somebody to get on the debate stage and just kick ass. Go up there against Vance and Rubio and say what's going on. And then hopefully we're going to make a blitz in all 99 counties in Iowa, go to New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. And if we have something viable, then you go on into the future. It's basically the Trump playbook. I mean, you can say, you don't have $1 billion.
Get an outsider in there. Get an outsider. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so with that, it is midnight. I have to be up early for work, and we are at 3 hours. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am going to go ahead and cap it right here. We're going to raid out to somebody on Pilled and on Rumble. Let's see. We will pick this up. We're about halfway through right now. So we will pick this up on Thursday and finish this out, because I am actually really enjoying the back and forth. I think it's intellectually stimulating. I disagree with Fuentes on a lot of things, mostly his approach and his just habitual trolling, but, you know. So 134 Crowder. Writing it down so I don't forget, but it should stay like that. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. Let us see who we shall raid. And thank you so much, Sam Duty, for watching on Rumble and on the YouTubes. One of the few people that watch on YouTube. Appreciate you, bud. We got 1 thumbs down. It happens. And Rotex Hippie, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Bam. Emotes. If you guys have not followed me yet, smash the follow button. If you haven't shared this stream out yet, share it out. If you haven't reposted, consider reposting, and I will be interacting with those. I actually did go ahead and interact with those that have already reposted and commented on this stream so far earlier, because I felt like it. Usually wait till after the stream, but I was like, hey, let's do it now. Let's see who we're going to raid on Rumble. Just a moment here. Who do we want to raid? We could raid Cool Frog. You guys want to raid Cool Frog? I wonder what they're talking about. World News Retrospect. You got, let's see. We've been going for 4 hours. I'm going to go ahead and raid out. We'll raid Cool Frog. Go check him out. Tell him Dozer said hi. I'll pop into the chat too. What's up, Clicia and Busey for the red pill and the repost over there on Pilled. We're going to raid out here on Rumble and on Pilled. Oh, a lot of stuff over there. I'm liking all the stuff. All right, and we are going to raid. You found more Bagpipe Girl. Nice. Keep your stick on the ice. Damn right. Damn frostbacks. All right, we got the raid set up for Coffee Talk with Sandra on Pilled. Guys, appreciate each and every one of y'all. I'm going to try to time my movements to the Dozer Den intro song. Unless it starts playing immediately, then I won't have to adjust. But let's see. Appreciate you guys. Let's rock.
Land of power, land of might, exceptional rage, endless fight, patriot bulldozer, leading the way, crushing all foes, making them pay. Flag in hand, fury in eyes, screams of pride, ignoring lies, iron grip, ruthless and cold, American dream, fierce and bold, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart, no retreat, no surrender, bulldozers force, a savage offender, red, white, blue, burning bright, in the chaos he finds delight, blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed of theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade, bulldozer, savage again, legend made, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart.
Laugh at that beat.
Blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed of theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade.
Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the delay, and if my choreography was not on proper timing with the song, we'll get that figured out. But I do appreciate you guys being here. What's up, you wrong? Y'all have a good one.